Oh man.
So, let me. I'll give everybody the rundown because they've been waiting to hear my, I guess, sultry voice. If sultry means Nathan Lane with a cold. Hi everybody, I'm Steamboat. I'm a VTuber that's on a little bit of a hiatus for a very funny reason, but I'm sure one day eventually in the stream it'll slip out. But
One day.
one day in November 4th. Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard about that before.
Yeah, it has something to do with election day and having running. All right, yeah, all right, whatever. I'm running for Congress. That's why. That's why I'm taking a break.
I was gonna say, something about writing or something.
No. I'm trying to evolve from doing long form political cartoons on the internet. This is my confession video to everybody that I apologize for anybody who believed in the campaign, but I have a terrible admission to make. I am a VTuber.
It's fucking over, dude.
It's over. That's
we're not
it.
gonna. We're not, guys. We're not gonna get our first VTuber in Congress. It's over. It's not gonna be someone like, I don't know, Iron Mouse or some shit in Congress.
Iron Mouse, not only the first VTuber congresswoman, but also the first congresswoman from Puerto Rico. Let's go.
True, real. I mean, unironically, she has appeared before. I think with the the good IDF, not the bad IDF. There's a
not
the bad one, but the good one. She's been on the steps of Congress before. I'm pretty sure she's talked with Congress people before. It's very funny.
Oh yeah, I mean, at least we have streamers talking to Congress people for good reasons, and not to take out people and fan bases of people who are not very friendly to certain streamer.
Yeah, well, it's not for like the stupid idiot Hassan bad stuff.
Dude, I don't really watch political streamers anyway. Like sometimes I'll watch like the first 10 minutes of a stream to kind of like see like the lowdown, and then it's like, all right, well they're kind of like on par with what I believe, so I don't really, it's kind of like
it's all
stuff I already know. And at the same time, like while I was doing comics, I would always not have them on because I kind of want to develop my own opinion for my own jokes and shit.
right.
So it's I would much rather watch Hassan than like CNN or something, because I know that Hassan isn't in the tank for corporate interests that are getting paid to tell you what they want you to hear.
Many such cases.
Many such cases.
Many such
indeed.
cases, folks. Very important. Yeah, I mean, like, listen. I mean, the environment's all more or less cooked because of. If we want to go through the whole like history rigmarole fuckamagee of as to why it's all cooked, it all goes back to Destiny, and that's how we can keep it as simple as possible. Just blame Destiny and move on with your life.
Wait, who?
Destiny, Esteban Bonoblo III, that guy.
Doesn't ring a bell.
A dude who is he lives in Miami. He looks like a goblin, and he is like basically the quote unquote liberal Ben Shapiro.
Oh,
but has a lot of sex scandals. Is also called Sex Pestiny.
Oh, that's a rough life.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Oh, and
is he the guy that fucking had a Nazi suck his cock?
Yes, Nick Fuentes.
Oh,
yes.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, is that the guy whose son turned into a fucking groiper?
Yes.
Oh, that's the guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, is that the guy who has his fans in a thinly veiled ruse to be an on the ground get out the vote operation?
Yes.
Actually turns out to be a massive stalking and harassment campaign?
Yes.
That Destiny?
Yes.
Oh, I know that guy. I hope he gets hit by a bus.
Wait, Pepe. Okay,
in Minecraft.
Everyone post Pepe's will be safe. This is our Pepe shield. We need the Pepe shield.
In all seriousness, though, part of me kind of like getting, trying to do both. At first, I was really hesitant to do so. Mm-hmm. But, if I'm running for office and people are going to know, it's going to come out eventually that I'm a VTuber that yaps about politics and doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
But, I think in all seriousness, I think if anybody, if someone like me can run, even if I lose, do the best you can. If whoever's in chat and has, inklings about getting involved in politics, please do. I know it sounds lame and, silly, but I've been touching grass now for like about a year and a half, trying to
My condolences.
What's that?
Oh, my condolences.
I heard you! Anyway.
That's crazy.
In all seriousness, though, please give it a shot. Not a lot of people pay attention to politics, and that's where that's why we're in the spot that we're in.
True.
But it's also important for anybody, who is involved in politics but not streaming, you should probably get on that, because that's going to be the future of the inside-outside coalitions that politicians are going to need to form to get the message out there. I think right now we're at this transition period where, a lot of people are cutting, in more ways than one, cutting the cable. And I think going forward, this is going to be the primary way people are going to be, exchanging. This is the new floor of the marketplace of ideas, as it were.
Don't let Dave Rubin hear you say that.
Oh, I wish Dave Rubin can hear me all the time, because I call him a stupid fucking idiot, the dumbest man on the internet. I swear to God, man. Why? It's like I'm gonna go walk into a lion's den, and as long as I get paid, I'm gonna stave off whatever mass humiliation I can muster. That didn't really work out for him, but God bless him, he's still posting.
He needs to get money from the Russians and now the Israelis. Allegedly. He only just had some random talk with Netanyahu and Tim Pool at the White House or some shit. Something like that. And that's the only way he's able to keep his operation afloat.
Exactly. Don't let Haley Stevens hear me. She'll. I'm also gonna get fucking Israel in my dreams, It's like fucking Freddy Krueger. No thanks. Get the fuck out of here.
So get away from me, Marge Simpson. Yeah, I don't want to have Israel. I don't want to have the Israel beam in my fucking subconscious. I'm good with that, dude. I'm good with that.
Yeah, for real. It's the worst iteration of Freddy Krueger, where he just goes into your dreams and just does Hasbara at you for 8 hours straight.
True. Well, either that or Bobby Hill. I was not expecting this episode of King of the Hill.
I close my eyes and I just see. Unfortunately, I like to say I see Bobby Hill when she's talking, but the Bobby Hill in season 15 of King of the Hill is actually the most normal person out of everyone, which I really enjoy that dynamic. Where now, after the time jump season, Bobby turned out to be the most well-adjusted. He just likes doing off the wall, shit, but he takes it seriously. So.
True. That's respectable. Whereas Haley Stevens is doing it for evil reasons.
I hate her. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, this Professor Jiang character.
Yes. How about we get into the main sort of course to all this?
Yes.
Do you want me to share the screen through Discord, or is it okay through stream? What's better for you? I'm currently doing it through stream. I think Discord has gotten very upset at us because they're listening in, and I think they're everybody in Discord is our Jong heads. That's
so
true.
we won't be working against us in this weirdo Dr. Jong
That's
secret
true.
operation.
That's true. Jung, it's been a while since we talked about this guy on the channel, but what are some of the Jung hits? His whole shtick is that he loves to apply, and this is some of my problems that I have with him. He loves to apply modern context to historical situations where it just simply does not apply. He thinks that Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan basically applied the infinite Tsukiyomi of consumerist debt slavery in the 80s, and that's why we are currently in the late-stage capitalistic system that we're in right now. His words, not mine. What else are some of like the special junk hits? Oh, he like he was doing like Holocaust denial. That was another thing he did. He got arrested.
Nice.
Yeah, he loves Holocaust denial. He did that very often. He was like chumming it up with like great replacement theory memes with Tucker Carlson. What else from like the Professor Junk hits? I've got quite a few videos on this fucking guy.
I mean, I'm not as much of a junkie as the rest of the chat surely is, but I'm sure we'll get well adjusted to his antics very soon.
Very, very well adjusted, and it's all because and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This guy is just basically another version of Jordan Peterson. He had like some viral take prediction that went super viral, and everyone just decided to like basically soy point and say like, "Oh, he got it right, dude! Oh my god! Oh, soy!" He did like the jingling of the keys, like Alan Lichtman with his like dumbass key system, and then all of a sudden everyone was just like, "Clearly, he's like a political talk guru, this Professor Jung guy." When in reality, he's a psycho.
I can't, dude. I can't wait. I can't wait to. I mean, I know the Destiny stuff was a bit, and we were all having fun memeing, because I'm sure everybody likes to have fun here on the Daho Rumba Comedy Hour.
True,
but
many such cases.
But many such cases. But in all seriousness, though, I've never really watched a long form Dr. Jong thing or Professor Jong. I just I see like a couple clips and be like, okay.
You're in for some fun.
I thought this guy was just some goofball. Like
yeah, goofball. That's definitely a term you can use.
Oh boy. All right, here we go.
Yeah, why don't we get started with our boy Jung?
Indeed, we've let everybody wait long.
Yeah,
enough.
he's been basically debating a bunch of like left-leaning people. He did an interview with Mehdi Hassan. I don't know why he did an interview with Mehdi Hassan. Very stupid.
Oh, how the fuck did I miss that?
Yeah, he did an interview. I have it on my YouTube channel. Exclamation mark YouTube. Shameless plug.
plug. Hashtag not spawn.
Yeah. Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah, he did an interview with Mehdi Hassan, and would you be surprised if he made himself look absolutely ridiculous? And Jordan Peterson had the wherewithal of not going on a lot of like left-leaning people's shows or talks at all ever since the Slavoj Žižek debate, where he was just like, well, I know everything about communism by only reading the Communist Manifesto on the plane ride over to my debate with Slavoj Žižek. And it's just like what the fuck are you doing, man? That's like,
I did.
Jesus Christ.
I did watch that, and
where are the Marxists?
That's all he needed to say.
Yes,
because
exactly.
He's right. Because he's absolutely right. You want to talk about Marxism rising in America, at least, what was this, in, like, 2021 when they did this?
Yeah. I think it was earlier than that. It was, like, was it 2021?
So, it's like forever. So forever.
It was a while ago. It was so long ago, but like whatever.
Forever and a day ago, they had this back and forth, and I've noticed that he stopped talking about Marxism with other communists after that.
But the Steamboat has dropped. Oh no, the Steamboat is lost. It's over. Oh no, the jung heads got him. Oh no, the jung heads. Not the CIA got him. I die. Oh man, that's funny. Absolute cinema, which is just bantering and then all of a sudden eaten by Jung Tent. Now they got you, didn't they?
Hello.
Hey,
I don't know what the hell just happened.
Maybe you just got dropped by Discord randomly or something. Whatever. Who knows?
Alrighty.
I have to wait to get.
Yeah. Who the fuck knows? All right, but I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this Jung
Yeah,
Tent.
let's do some fucking Jung Tent. Why don't we take a look at this?
All right.
Thank you, YouTube.
I'm now going to be talking to Professor Jung, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Hello, Professor Jung. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wow. Okay. What an honor. What an honor to have you here. A big time fan. First time listener.
Oh, is the speed good for you?
Yeah, this is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, this is fine.
That's what we say in radio. Which this is not. Hold on. I'm gonna fix. I'm doing a real time live production right now, so it's going to take a little bit to size you up, to fix you up on the screen. But I know that you are now also doing live broadcasts because I saw you talk about the trial.
Wait, Jung live streams now? Yo!
Wait, he's doing live streams?
Yeah, well, based off of what Hassan is saying here, I don't see why Hassan would lie about that. But
I gotta get ready then.
Yeah, I gotta get into that. I gotta see what Jung is streaming, or where he even streams. I mean, he still has his YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's like clippers, because he's got a bunch of fucking clippers. Because he's like very popular for some reason. I don't know why he's as popular as he is. I don't know. It's strange. It's weird.
All right.
Of trying to communicate to an audience in real time and how difficult it is. So now, we're one in the same.
You need about 4 brains. You need about 4 brains to do. You need about 4 brains to do it properly.
Thank you. It's the ADHD that I have. Okay, so Professor Jiang, you have been on the broadcast of numerous academics, and also Sneeko,
true,
who is not necessarily an academic, but you've had conversations.
Quick blurb on that Sneeko appearance that he had. I think he was like doing. The clip I remember from his like talk with Sneeko was him agreeing with Sneeko, saying that about, I think it was 10% of American girls are on OnlyFans. And
come on, dude.
Yeah, you just like literally you just do quick maths on that. It's about 1 million accounts on OnlyFans, and that's all accounts on OnlyFans.
Okay, so
and that's not that alone is not even 10% of America's population. Like
right,
it's like 34 million.
What was his problem with that?
It was just like incel pandering. Because one thing you need to know about Jung, he is all about audience capture. That's it. That's the only reason.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's all audience capture. He'll say basically anything to appeal to any audience. Like, it doesn't matter. He has no principles, no beliefs. He's inconsistent completely in terms of all of his positions.
Huh. Okay. So, I mean, if he were smart, which I doubt it, he would attribute that to the fact that it's the same way that gambling came about. Everybody is bored and everybody's lonely. That, gambling where everybody's bored and has, no money and they want to make a quick buck. Yeah, this is,
I've used the exact same argument as well. Yeah, like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If he were smart, this would be like, okay, this is an indicator of a larger problem. So, don't be sad, incel, because these are people that are trying to survive and do their best. But
yes.
I don't think we're gonna have that shred of humanity anytime soon.
I mean, the vast majority, and if you know anything about like those like Manosphere type podcasts where they like pay a bunch of OnlyFans girls to just go on there to like debate them or whatever, like the whatever podcast or whatever the fuck they're called, those shitters. We know like very often the reasonings for as to why a lot of these like OnlyFans girls get invited on those shows, or why they do OnlyFans, and they say to themselves, it's like, I have like student loans I need to pay, or I have like medical bills I need to fucking pay, and it's just like, okay, let's use our schizo brains for 3 seconds. Okay, we're gonna put our brains together and we're gonna try to generate some electricity. Okay, it's gonna be really easy, guys.
Can't wait.
Can we recognize that there's a bigger problem afoot here? Like, can we just do that for like 3 seconds? Is that possible? Can we do that?
I would argue no, because these are the same people that are rage, not even like doom posting or doom scrolling, rage scrolling. They're looking for something to get mad at, because I think it's the only feeling that they know how to feel.
Well, I've talked about this before. Mark Fisher, Capitalist Realism, The Death of Subjectivity. Oh my god, Dahu mentioning the philosophical plank that he operates off of. Oh, shocker, I know. But the point of all of this is basically, like, because of how hyper-commodified the economy is right now, the only thing that makes any form of, like, monetization is, or the only sort of field of monetization that exists now, because everything else has been monetized to shit, is now social interactions. That's why you're seeing a lot of the emergence of those AI companion things, which I think are a crime against humanity, personally. Those things
it's my
should not exist.
Oh my god, it's my honest opinion that Sam Altman, I think, should be tried for murder. And
yes, ChatGPT has killed people before.
Yes, it has. It actually, it was the case recently where a young woman committed suicide after ChatGPT basically told her that you're the Messiah and all you have to do is die, and then the rest of the world will follow you. The rest of the world will hear your message. It's really like
that's fucking depressing.
It's like if Skynet was doing psychological warfare instead of dropping nukes.
Yeah, honestly, at least with like the nukes, it's like it happens and it's over. It's like, oh well, fuck. But this time it's just like you have like a relationship with some bot that you're never gonna fucking meet, and it's just like, okay, dude, like now I've developed this relationship with a bot and it's telling me to fucking off myself. That's fucking depressing. Jesus.
Did you ever see the movie Her?
No, I've never been much of a movie watcher.
Okay, so it came out a couple years ago. I think it was, well, by a couple, I think now like 7 years ago or something like that. It's an old movie. It's with Joaquin Phoenix, and Scarlett Johansson is the voice of an AI not unlike Siri. And this guy, Joaquin Phoenix, falls in love with the AI.
Oh, I think I know what movie you're talking about. This has definitely sprouted a bunch of discourse before. Yeah,
Warframe Sensei, yes. It was a really good movie on its own, but this shows how old I am, because I walked out of the theater that day. It's like, I don't know, that seems a little too crazy.
It's happening. Despair.
Wrong I was.
Despair.
It was a prophecy. I was like, I have never been more wrong about something in my life.
Yeah, we're here now, guys. It's so fucking.
This is
guys.
it. This is it. We are here,
guys. It's all her, not like in the good way, but like in the we're all gonna be we're gonna be all fat, lonely incel chuds way.
The American dream, huh?
American dream.
All right, let's see what this
Stations with the likes of Dugan and many others. Very excited to have you here. You did an interview with Breaking Points. Longtime fan of your work. Let's get right into it. What's the next prediction? What's coming up?
Like the Breaking Points
my big prediction is that I think Trump will get a third term.
Okay, that's a little wild. All right.
Hot.
What makes you say that?
Well, first of all, he and his family have been stealing billions of dollars. That's a lot of corruption, and it's really unprecedented. So if he were to leave the office,
we know that.
In 2028, you would imagine the first thing that any new administration would do is conduct an investigation, because it'd be very popular among American people. I also live in China, so I know how these things work.
Jiang is not wrong here, but the problem is that all of like I forget the name of the people who are supposed to like look into that. I think they're called the Inspector Generals. All those guys got fired like pretty much like day one by Trump.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole point, to totally do away with anybody who had somewhat of a voice and left everybody in the military who's just like castrated.
Any form of like oversight has basically been like destroyed, and that's why he's able to do this. Well, shall we say, for lack of a better term, pillage.
Pretty much.
Basically, when someone gets in office and he's behaving like a tyrant, it usually means he's a tyrant, and it usually means he has no intention of ever leaving office.
Hear him at all.
So I think that given his behavior, I think Trump is intent on a third term.
Hang on, I can't.
So then the question then is, would he get a third term? And when Zelensky visited the White House, there was a White House gaggle, and basically the reporter asked Zelensky, "Hey, why haven't you had an election for the past 4 years? And you should be out of office." And Zelensky is like, "Well, we're at war, so we suspend the Constitution." And Trump was like, "Wait, you can do that?"
Oh, don't tell me he's gonna do the fucking Russia bit.
Yeah, the conflation here between Zelensky and Trump makes like literally no sense to me. It's literally written within Ukraine's constitution that if they are in total war and their territory has essentially been not severed, but like conquered by like an enemy, that's tends to happen in war. The president or the prime minister can suspend elections, because like how can you have elections if about like 20% of your fucking territory is under occupation?
Yeah, and hot take, I go or lukewarm take. I actually agree with that. I agree with that decision, because if you hold an election and then some crazy bullshit comes out, and then you have, you know, the potential favorite being a Russian sympathizer, then it's over. Then you're cooked.
Yeah, basically, like, I know that all the Russian sympathizing parties have been, like, banned, and everyone's, like, bitch and moaned and complained about that, and also Zelensky not holding elections. It's just, like, they're currently at war with Russia. I think,
which is a totalitarian, like, fascist state. So, you know,
like,
kick rocks.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry. Do you want, like, say, okay, we're gonna do a hypothetical. Republicans love to complain about how Democrats are like shills for China or whatever the fuck. In a hypothetical scenario, let's say there was a Republican in office as the president or whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
And there's a war between the United States and China. And let's just take the nuke. Let's pretend the nukes don't exist. Because obviously that would happen immediately. But pretend the nukes don't exist. It's a conventional war, blah, 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 blah. Would you really want a bunch of people who are shills for China to hold a position of power while you're basically fighting a war? Like, can we, like, think about this for, like, 3 seconds? I don't think it's particularly a great idea. Because who knows what can happen. Like, what fundings could get potentially held, or like weapons manufacturing and like the states that they represent and shit like that. Blah 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 blah. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if we're doing like a total war, existential fight of survival kind of a thing, you have to do everything possible in order to survive. It's not ideal in terms of like a democratic like you know, sort of like system or whatever, but the nation state's purpose is to simply just survive, and it will do anything in order to survive. Like, that's just how it is. And I don't think getting bombed out by, I don't know, like China might not be. I don't think that's necessarily a great thing. You know, just gonna throw that out there.
No. I agree. I don't think that would be very fun at all.
It was like, you like that, don't you? And yeah, that's what he might do. He could also run as a VP and have his son, Don Jr., at the head of the ticket. And then when he wins, when they win by cheating, they can, you know, his son can abdicate and he can be the president again.
So there's one complication there. It's actually unconstitutional for him to be the vice president. Like right now, Barack Obama couldn't run as a vice president.
That is true, but like terms. this is the Trumps.
They'll come up with something.
They'll think of something.
Yeah, that theory that Jiang said, that was like floated pretty much like immediately, like first couple months into the administration they thought about, because like the justification is just like, well, can you say that he had 2 terms because they weren't back to back? It's just like, that is the most idiotic fucking argument I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, this is his second term because he had 1 term in 2016 to 2020. This is the second term. Doesn't matter if they're back to back or not. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I agree. My biggest problem right now, like I have with Professor Jiang, is like it's the classic conspiracy theorist trap. Where it's like, you know, it reels you in with a crumb of like observable or objective reality, and then it forms the conclusion. It forms the you know, like it backtracks through like bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm losing the word, but
yeah, I mean, Jiang is very conspiratorial. That's
it
what
just goes down. It goes down a rabbit hole of just a bunch of bullshit. It's like the Nutty Putty cave of rabbit holes.
I mean, that's pretty much like you've just hit Jiang right, like, you know, the Jiang nail on the head. That's pretty much like
here
his
we
main
go.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, what's the over under on he blames the Jews for I guess the Palestinian conflict or something? It's just, or like all the economic problems in the world.
He's definitely done that before. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes. Maybe not here because.
Yeah. Are you a bad enough dude to do a JQ on the fucking Hasanabi broadcast?
Yeah, I don't know if he'll pull JQ here, but he'll JQ definitely with Tucker Carlson. He was JQing with Tucker Carlson.
All right, let's see.
It depends on who he's talking with. Again, like, he's purely audience driven.
Yeah, he's total sponge.
Because so there's a constitutional hurdle there, but maybe he can climb it. I don't know.
That is up to debate, because if you talk to any law professor, he or she will tell you that it's unconstitutional. That is the spirit of the Constitution. But the problem with the Constitution is it doesn't state explicitly that you can't do that.
No, yes it does. Stop. Yes it does. Yes it does. There's provisions in there for a reason, and that's why there are so many federal judges that have won cases against Trump on the regular, because it's like if something is flat out written in stone, either in the Constitution, Bill of Rights, or any subsection in between, those federal judges are going to uphold them. Yeah, because they kind of
unless it's the Supreme Court.
Unless,
Then,
well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
it's
like,
it has to.
Yeah, it depends how partisan it is.
Even the Republican judges have been swatting some of this stuff away.
MAGA judges have also, like Trump-appointed justices as well. Not MAGA judges, but Trump-appointed judges rather have also been smacking a bunch of stuff. Like some of his stuff that he tried to pull in Portland.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't work. It basically didn't go through at all.
But I think not surprisingly, Dr. Jiang is Dr. Wrong on this one.
Good one.
that was okay. That was the only time I'm going to use that. I'm making a promise right now, and I apologize to chat for using that to begin with. I'm not proud of that one.
Yeah, it could be worse.
President shall be elected, but the vice president is not elected. He's part of the ticket. So it's ultimately up to the Supreme Court to decide what this constitution says, right? So I would debate that they will take this to the Supreme Court.
Well, yeah, I mean, the vice president has the same qualifications as the president. Like, vice president also has to be like over the age of 35, for example. Like, you can't have like a 30-year-old VP on the ticket.
That is the spirit of the Constitution.
But then again, who knows?
That's the spirit of the Constitution. I agree with you. And all our professors will tell the same thing. But again, it's not in the letter. It's not explicit. And so they can take it to the Supreme Court. And ultimately, 3 of the 9 justices were appointed by Trump. He'll probably get another one by the end of this year, possibly next year.
Maybe. But Amy Coney Barrett and even Neil Gorsuch have gone against a bunch of like Trump's sort of desires before. Like, I mean, for example, the attempt of him trying to overturn the 14th Amendment via executive order. Amy Coney Barrett and even Chief Justice John Roberts, not obviously appointed by Trump, but they went against the attempted overturning of the 14th Amendment that Trump was trying to do with birthright citizenship. It's generally speaking, it's assumed that he's got a bunch of like his like little dipshit cronies in there, but that's not necessarily a guarantee. Which is just like that's not why that's kind of like the reason for as to why like relying on the courts is not great in particular, because, and I've said this before, the only reason why the fascistic takeover of Trump has not been as, for lack of a better term, bad as it could have been is because, unlike the Nazis, Trump really does not have the courts on his side. He doesn't have a public opinion on his side, and he certainly does not have like the popular will on his side either. Nor does he have like many of the institutions on his side either. So
no, they're also just incredibly inept. Just recently, I think they had to drop the federal courts had to drop the lawsuit filed against the 3 New York Times journalists because the Department of Justice had to admit that they made a couple of legal errors.
Oh.
In order.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. No, of course not. This is all
I'm not
just,
that.
But that's why I hate these guys, because it's bluster and bullshit stories that are literally getting people killed. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's all for nothing but a quick buck, and that's why the MAGA movement literally dies with Trump. So
yeah, more than
how. Yeah, but I think the economy is going to die first.
Yeah, well,
he'll beat it.
Brent Kurt's back up to 100, baby. Let's fucking go. Great Depression 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, look, dude, I have a 401k, and if I was a fucking idiot, I would say Trump's doing fucking fantastic because my fucking 401k keeps going up. Mm-hmm. So, again, if I was like a fucking stupid ass, I'd say that's why he's doing good. But I still have another 30 years until I see that money. So, fuck this guy. And probably he'll find a way to fuck that up too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck this guy. All right, Dr. Chung, let's see what you got.
So it'll be 4 appointed by Trump when this case goes to the Supreme Court. But it'll be great for us because it'll be Barack Obama versus Donald Trump in 2028.
Okay, you said us. So you're in the tank for the Democrats. Is that what it is? Am I getting that right?
No, I know. What I meant, of course, I'm being ironic. What I meant is just a general spectator.
Oh, okay.
It'll be like the WWE.
Okay.
Yeah, who's to say?
Yeah, who really knows?
Who knows? I don't know. Am I a Democrat? Am I a Republican? Who knows?
Yeah, that's the problem with like the whole Trump era and everything. Everything's just like such a fucking shit show, and up to quote unquote interpretations that it's difficult to have like any solid through line for as to what may potentially happen because so much unprecedented bullshit has happened.
I think it's not even the fact that this guy is just so audience driven. I think what happened is that he overdosed on the smell of his own farts, because he never. It's against his brand. I'm looking at here. I think to be like direct, because I think if he was any, again, if he was smart, he would have said, just a person with a brainstem, a person on the right side of history, a person who is opposed to fascism. But he can't say that, or else, the right-wing chuds in his audience will flip out, and then he loses his viewership.
Well, I mean, it's also like that's why I say he's Jordan Peterson, basically.
Yep.
It's
he's
all
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, Jordan. He's a Chinese Canadian Jordan Peterson. Part of his Canadian. He is Canadian. He moved to Canada for a while. He has Canadian citizenship. It's very, very funny.
The greatest clash in American politics. Barack Obama versus Donald Trump. Donald Trump's been waiting for this ever since, when did he go to the White House correspondence dinner and Barack Obama made fun of him? I mean, he's been relishing this moment for a long time.
2015, 2014 maybe?
Yeah. No, he's been relishing this moment for a long time.
They're saying 2011 in my chat. All right, so getting back to it. So you're famous for your predictions. You use game theory. A lot of people have called you out on it. I don't fully understand how game theory factors into your
It actually goes, I would argue that goes back a little earlier. The whole... Oh, yeah. It goes back, I think, all the way to 2012, actually, when Obama got his second term. Because Trump was pushing the birthright, or pushing the birthright citizenship for Obama. And,
he was a big birther conspiracy theorist guy.
Yep,
huge
exactly.
birtherism.
And I think it was like Brian Williams, the reporter who basically faked embellished his coverage in Iraq, or rather Afghanistan. I think that was Brian Williams for NBC News. That's that's just how I remembered it. He said of Trump that basically he's on the off-ramp to relevancy, and basically just called him a fucking goober on New Year's Day, or rather New Year's Eve coverage, 2012, because that was the year Obama won.
Right.
And I think that definitely started. That definitely started his kind of like vendetta against the liberal elite he wanted to be so badly a part of, but nobody wanted him around, so he figured he might as well hit the easy marks, can't pander to the Republicans after seeing how much of an audience he got during the birthright citizenship thing, and from there it's just been, how am I going to make the most money while showing everyone up and making sure I don't go to jail? And that's why I think Trump that's why I think he ran for president in the first place. Not from, fame, fortune, all that shit, just so he wouldn't go to jail.
Well, I mean, he's been talking about wanting to run for presidency for a while, I believe, as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a thing. It's been in the tank as well. That's also another factor that's be thrown into all of this. I mean, we know that he's been trying, he's lost his billionaire status for, a while, 6 failed businesses. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in terms of, business, besides, the silver spoon he was handed to, or that was essentially handed to him on a silver platter. We know he's, a buffoon, and he hardly knows what he's doing, and he, loses money as if it's, I don't know, being thrown into a fire, that one, fucking... Fairly Odd Parents meme of the money being shoveled in the fire.
Yep. But the only thing that saved him is that the man only has one talent, which is being able to sell ketchup popsicles to women in white gloves. That's the only thing that's kept him afloat for forever. So yeah, I think that's where I would say to Dr. Jiang that it goes earlier than that, but whatever.
Sure.
Do you mind elaborating on how game theory factors into your predictions on geopolitical events?
Oh, also, yes.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, I forgot to completely talk about the game theory stuff. So, first off, Professor Jiang does not understand how degrees works. So, game theory is a complex mathematical theory. He graduated university with a degree in literature, and he's a high school professor. Not an actual like university professor. He's a high school teacher. So keep for literature. And his justification, we watched this before, for saying that he has a degree in math was saying that he started in university by taking math. It's just like, well,
get the fuck out of here.
You switched over to literature, buddy. That's not how degrees work, you idiot.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
Yeah, I know. This guy's very, very goofy.
This, to say the least. I just think he's a fucking idiot.
Right. So my my big thing is that the world is a game, and we can treat nation states as players in this game, and each nation state has
who is the phone guy?
It's me. I'm the phone guy.
That's the fuck. That's what I thought when I instantly heard game theory was fucking Mad Pat. That's why that's why I kind of crashed out.
everyone thought that.
Determined by geography and by its history. And this distinct
Freddy Fazbear in the Epstein Files, by the way. You hate to see it.
Is particularly aggressive. China is not aggressive. And ultimately, each player is going to...
also, keep in mind, listen, he graduated, again, I'm going to say this, graduated university with a degree in literature. He doesn't know anything about history, doesn't know anything about mathematics. I don't know why he's applying history to a complex mathematical theory, but whatever. Should pretty much tell you, because at the very least, when Jordan Peterson was doing his whole fucking shtick and grift, at the very least, he was accredited and a tenured professor in psychology. At the very least, he knew what he was talking about in terms of psychology and had some form of academic backing. He's just doing basically the exact same thing as Jordan Peterson, but has even less credibility in comparison to him. He just only pretends to be a professor because, again, it's like an air of credibility that's around him. That's why he does it.
This guy is a performance artist.
Yes. Listen, I know this man like the back of my fucking hand. He's
oh my
grifter through and through. Just a complete liar.
All right, let's have my man cook up some dubious
food. So rather than
food.
look at what people say, look at what people do. Just think about if this game were to continue, what's the optimal strategy, and then the player would adapt this optimal strategy over time, right? So if you were to go back 2 years ago and you were to survey American politicians and Donald Trump, would you go invade Iran? They'd be like, of course not. That's insane. Why would we do that? But they end up invading Iran because it is at this point in American history the optimal strategy in order to maintain American hegemony around the world. So that's a weak introduction to game theory.
Okay, so.
I don't think that's just not how Trump is operating off of. He just listen. The only reason why Trump is invading Iran is because Benjamin Netanyahu showed up with his Mossad boys, gave an hour-long presentation in the Situation Room. We have reporting on this, and said, "Yeah, you should do an invasion of Iran because of these reasons." That's it.
He's making Trump out like he's playing 4D chess, and I don't know why he would even... Actually, I do know why he would look into this, because that's his job. But, I don't know. It's going to be tough to make chicken salad from chicken shit from this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Part of that equation in your assessment, because you correctly predicted that Trump's going to win the election. There were some incorrect predictions in there. I believe you said Nikki Haley could potentially be Trump's vice president, but then you also landed on J.D. Vance as well. There was one thing that stuck with me, though, where you said that America was going to...
okay, you know what? I really hate that people were, thinking Trump would win because of some, wizardry. It was very, very obvious that she was not going to win, Kamala. The whole, strategy fell apart, and you could see it in their messaging, and, Tim Walz is kind of turning into a pumpkin. It didn't surprise anyone, I think. Whoever's really paying attention, that this wasn't going to be an uphill battle for her, for Kamala. Like, I really hate when people make them out, these guys out to be super geniuses. It's like, the age-old question that if it's between stupidity or evil, it's usually stupidity, or it's both.
Well,
they're corrupt because they're stupid.
Well, okay, just to build further on that point, the only reason why Joe Biden stayed in the primary for as long as he was purely fucking ego.
Yeah.
The whole consensus in mainstream media was that there was going to be a red wave during the 2022 midterms. When that did not appear, did not manifest itself because of the Republicans fumbling the ball, and that's key, by the way, Republicans fumbling the ball.
Yep.
It made it such that Joe Biden got a fucking ego trip and thought he was him. When, oh no, buddy, you were not him. You just fucking lucked out that the Republicans ran on a terrible fucking strategy. Terrible strategy. He got a fucking ego boost from it, and as a result, he thought he was him, and basically wanted to run for another term, even though he said that he wasn't going to do that.
And once again, crushed the Democratic Party under the weight of its own hubris.
Yep, pretty much.
Lose the war to Iran, but in the process of doing so, that there would be troop movements that from the rest of the region would join in on this battle and militarily invade Iran. Boots on the ground military warfare. Part of that, you said Saudi Arabia would amass 200,000 plus troops. Where, if you don't mind me asking, where did you get that number? Because
a lot of numbers.
I remember looking up the number of
that's
troops
a
the
lot.
Saudi government has, and as far as like combat troops, it was nowhere near 200,000. Which,
Right.
Reserve troops,
jeez
0.
Louise.
Military personnel, but that's military personnel. That could be like office positions and like fucking number crunchers and shit like that, right?
Right.
Only paramilitary forces, about 25,000. Yeah, they're nowhere close to that. I mean, they have a bunch of assets mostly provided by the United States because the United States uses them as a fucking airbase because a lot of flat, open desert. Great for building air bases on. Like 200,000? Like, I know that they joined in with their forces for the liberation of Kuwait back during Desert Storm. But, like, they're going to do an invasion of Iran? I don't think so.
But this is nobody in their right mind would have done it. That's why that's why Israel waited for a guy like Trump, whose brain turned to fucking soup.
Yep, that's true. Sure.
of course, I don't even think Saudis would ever allow Saudi nationals to go and wage war, as they were thoroughly defeated militarily in Yemen by the much smaller, much more ascetic band
Well,
of
it started again
troops
at
backed
this
by
point.
Iran, the Ansar Allah movement, the Houthis.
Okay, so to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't do thorough research when I came up with these numbers. When I
What? Hold up!
Man,
Lad, you know?
I'm so surprised, guys. Oh, this is listen. Yeah, behind the fucking the PNG over here. I for one am completely. I'm doing my shocked Pikachu face right now. Oh, Jung didn't look up any of the numbers. No. Oh my goodness!
Okay.
What a surprise.
All right, you know what? Brain off. Let's rock and roll.
Very good.
I give lectures, I'm trying to create a narrative that sort of captures the essence of what's happening. And so my large argument is that...
By the way, that's...
Just
by
lying!
Yeah, he does that all the time. He loves just building broader narratives. Now, I think you're starting to understand, Steamboat, why this guy's anti-Semite conspiratorial fucking crank. Again...
I'm fucking dying!
Again, this is the same dude... While trying to talk about how we got to the current late-stage capitalist system that we got to, thought that Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan cast the infinite Tsukiyomi of consumerist debt slavery. Again, this is the dude we're dealing with. He's a schizo.
No, this is performance art.
Yep. Sure is.
I went to SUNY Purchase. It was a theater school. I know what I'm talking about. This guy is a performer.
Yep. Absolutely.
Let's go.
America will go in coalition, and this coalition will make up the bulk of its invasion force. We're already seeing this transpire where it's cracked down in Iraq, and so what a lot of people believe is that the Prime Minister is trying to crack down on the Shia militias in order to take the ground for a invasion from Iraq, right? And if that were the case, then you can see Iraqi militiamen joining in. You can see the Kurds joining in as well. So my larger point is that if a broad coalition with
golly,
American...
I would have just, I would have hung up.
Okay, so yeah, he's thinking like, oh yeah, the Iranian Kurds will also join in with the Saudis if they do an invasion. Really? Because when Trump through the CIA tried to give them a bunch of guns, while the protests were happening in Iran, you know what they said? No, fuck off.
No way.
Absolutely not. This is a terrible idea. What are we doing?
They're trying their best to survive and play out the strings. It's man, this is gonna be tough. This is who the Gulf states have attached their horse to.
Yep.
Providing
it's Riyadh season, baby.
Special forces and intelligence and command and control. But the bulk of the invasion force would be multinational, and you can also see some Japanese and Korean forces in there as well.
Wow, you think Japanese and Korean forces would also participate in a ground invasion of Iran?
Interesting.
Well, it's in the benefit of America to make it as international as possible. And ultimately, the sanctions were to continue to be closed, and South Korea and Japanese economies were tanked, right? So they have a vested interest in sending forces. They may not send a lot, but again, I think Trump will be very interested in having this.
Okay, literally Trump has been desperately trying to get the Europeans and the Canadians in, and they've been like, nope, absolutely the fuck not. They aren't even offering to provide any vessels. Like the British have provided like maybe one ship, maybe like one minesweeping ship, but it's not even there anymore. They were just like, nah, actually, fuck that. That was a terrible idea. It's
no, because it was a death sentence.
Well, not because it's a death sentence, because it's just bonehead. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is just dumb, strategically speaking. It's just like, there's no there. It's just a quagmire. Like, why the fuck are we doing this? There's no stated objective. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? It just, strategically speaking, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, why are we doing this? We've been trying to negotiate some, like, amalgam, like, Iran deal ever since you tore up the first one, and that's all gone to shit because of how much of a fucking doofus you are. Like, hello? What are we doing here? What's the point in joining in on this war? It just doesn't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah, true, Boy Meets Mini. BB will bring in the Messianic Age and rebuild the Third Temple. So true.
As broad a coalition as possible, just for domestic political purposes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the Japanese self-defense forces, especially considering that that's like definitely a bridge too far for many, even in Japanese society. As far as I understand Japanese politics, I mean, they don't really have a real military. I mean, it's unconstitutional for them to even have a military technically.
But now they're talking about it.
I believe that the Japanese have been they've been rearming, I think, recently.
Yeah, because they've also fallen victim to the super party, the uniparty thing. Basically, everybody's voting in. It's what the hell's her name? Hirono?
It's the LDP is the name of the party. God, I'm blanking on her name.
But that's basically the LDP basically became a uniparty, and now it's just her rubber stamp. That's what a rubber stamp Congress is going to look like.
Takai-san.
Sanai Takaichi.
Yeah, Sanai Takaichi. And she can override vetoes. Like, that's how much control. And they can pass, like, constitutional amendments, I believe, to the Japanese constitution as per their rules, I think. It's like 70,
the news doesn't really...
I think it's like 70. Yeah, it's like 70+% is of the representation is by the LDP, I think. Something like that.
It's really getting... there's going to be social unrest there, I think. I'd say not in the near future, because I just don't think that's how the Japanese roll. But the lefty insurgency of Japan is starting to make a little more noise. So it's, I think there's, discontent. I think. I don't think anybody over there is kind of like in the same spot that we are, in another hyper-capitalized or hyper-financialized capitalist quote-unquote democracy. It's, the underclass is starting to make more noise, and everybody's starting to see it, I think.
Probably, yeah, for sure.
Blue Water Navy in East Asia. I can see them sending ships to the Strait of Hormuz to support the attack. And also right now Japan is rewriting the constitution, and they are remilitarizing because they recognize that as the United States retreats from East Asia, then they need to basically be able to defend themselves against Chinese aggression.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind me asking. So you live in Beijing, but you're on the
China.
English side of the internet. So, and I've been to Beijing. I don't know if you're aware. I've been to China. It was quite a controversial trip, as a matter of fact, because I don't have, unlike many Americans, I don't have an immediate hostility towards China. I think it's just another country
I
in the world,
saw a
as you
little
also
bit of that.
correctly
It looks
pointed
like he
out.
had a good time.
They don't.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was like trying to make the claim that this was a paid trip by the CCP. I have yet to.
I don't think he was. I think he just went.
I have, and yeah, they're saying like it's just it was a paid trip because he went there with a bunch of streamer buddies of his. I think Austin Show went, same with Caroline Kwan and Will Neff. I think you can.
Well, yeah, because they're all friends in real life. They all like do a podcast together. So and also I think that's more of a reason why they went, is because China looks like a cool place.
It's a cool place, folks. I mean, like, they didn't do this. By the way, they never did this same shit with, say, iShowSpeed. Because you can make more of an argument for iShowSpeed potentially being paid off by the CCP, given the fucking coverage that he did, because it was very non-critical of the Chinese Communist Party at all. Like, you would have a stronger argument of saying that about Speed. But they're saying that specifically about Hassan for some reason. It's a little interesting. I wonder why.
Certainly not because he is exactly what they were looking for, the Democrats, and it's just they're more upset that he's not in their camp.
Well, not only
stupid, sexy Hassan.
Well, not only that, because it's not just the Democrats who make that argument, but I'm talking about like the apolitical slop-tuber archetype of people, because those are the guys that mostly say those. Yeah, say that argument. Yeah, because they're just
cockroaches.
Yeah, they're just idiots.
Don't have a lot of inherent hostility towards other countries in general. They just have they exercise their self-interest, and their self-interest revolves around maintaining stability around the world. And even
you know why they make
a
a big stink of it, and it's mostly coming from Destiny. And didn't he do a fucking paid trip to Israel?
Allegedly, but yeah, like, listen, Destiny has, like, basically no leg to stand on, of course, when it comes to quote-unquote paid trips, because, yeah, he probably did one to Israel, but also, which these people never also mention, but a lot of this is, like, stemming from, like, Ethan Klein and, like, the sort of, like, generalized, like, noise. Sure, we'll go with the term noise. Around, like, the whole breakup between himself, Ethan Klein, and that whole fucking fiasco. So that's why there's, like, the whole, like, Hassan Bad virus. Again, Kilotonics' video does a fantastic breakdown in terms of all of these associated fucking weirdos. Would highly recommend if you got fucking 4 hours of your life to waste away.
No, I don't.
Yeah, well, if in terms of, like, the whole sort of, like, Hassan Bad hysteria, the problem with it specifically is that a lot of the stuff that these motherfuckers say about Hassan, if you go through the actual takes and claims, a lot of it is just either lies or not substantiated. Like,
yeah, they just don't bank.
Yeah,
they just don't bank on people actually watching it or paying attention.
Yeah, because their audience, well, they're dipshits, and they know that their audience are also dipshits, so then they just play off of it. It's very simple.
Is seen as an unforgivable sin here in the United States of America. But I want to hear about your perspective on China a little bit, given as you're someone who went to college here in the United States of America, I believe, right? You went to Yale?
Yeah, I was at Yale. Yes,
yeah, you went to Yale. You had an English degree from Yale, and then you also you worked as a journalist in China for a little bit, and then there was a little bit of controversy. I think you were working. I mean, this is just off your Wikipedia page. You can elaborate. You were working with an American outlet, I think, or an international or Western outlet.
Yeah, PBS.
Oh, you're working with PBS. Okay, cool. And then and what was that about?
All right.
Yeah, so I was working as a freelance journalist for the first couple of years. I was in China, and I was working for Clinical Education, Asia Week, some American publications. And then PBS came into town, and this was a time when China was applying to join the WTO, the World Trade Organization. And there were a lot of
yeah, this is probably his story about how he got arrested and whatnot. I don't know if you want to go through this or not. Yeah, he was with PBS. Yep, public broadcasting.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's skip this part.
Yeah, we want to get to Jiang and Marxism, but yeah, basically
because that is like the objectively the one cool thing he's done.
Yeah. Like he used to work with quick summary, of course. Oh, he used to work at PBS. He did a bunch of reporting in China, I think around the Uyghurs. There we go. Went the Uyghurs. China didn't like it, and they arrested him. Very, very, very quick TLDR in terms of all that.
I mean, I believe
that
in
was cool.
dialectical materialism. So my understanding of the world revolves around, in some ways, it's not
Marxism.
dissimilar to game theory, self-interest on the basis of class, and how society is organized around the
That's certainly a way to frame it.
and everything is downstream from that. But I do think that there are some, spiritual and ideological ways of thinking that might lead people astray. But I think ultimately it's still, it's still the self-interest of the capital owning class. But it seems like you were not a believer in Marxist theory or Marxist thought at all.
I'm sympathetic. If you actually research Kabbalah, you would appreciate that dialectic materialism comes from the Kabbalah, right? So if you look at Marx and his genealogy, both.
By the way, this is.
Hold up. No. He's not doing fucking Jewish mysticism created Marxism.
He's done shit like this all the time, where he will use like religious, not like dogma or whatever, in order to justify a lot of his fucking beliefs. This is a common Jungism, where he'll talk about like a lot of like religious theory, even though he has not read the Bible, maybe read the Bible, who really fucking knows, because there's 17 trillion differing versions, not only the Bible, the Torah, and as well as other tons of different religious scripture and texts. And in fact, some of the sources that he has cited for the more nonsensical claims that he has made come from like, I guess for like lack of a better term, just like all those like insane weirdo like evangelical types who have made those like books that you find like kind of randomly on Amazon while going down a rabbit hole.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Boy Meets Mini, we've done the thorough digging in terms of a lot of the source material that Jung likes to refer to when he's talking about religion, and very often it's like all of the biggest sort of like nutter butters.
His,
okay.
Paternal sides of the family. They come from several generations of rabbis. The guy's an aristocrat. Like just go and look at his Wikipedia page. He comes from like.
Wait, is he Marx was an aristocrat? Well, no, I don't think so.
I think
he was like middle class, I believe. Because what?
Yeah, like upper middle, like professional middle class.
Yeah, professional middle class. If we're talking about who was bourgeois, that was Engels in the relationship. Engels was the factory owner.
Engels was the money man, and
yes.
Carl was the ideas guy.
Yeah, just
he's a numbers guy. He's a numbers guy.
I'm just the kind of ideas guy, and I get my numbers guy who pays all my stuff for me.
He is Jewish, but he's also very critical of religion in general, and I do feel like the philosophical basis comes from Hegel and not Kabbalah. But maybe I misunderstood it.
Yeah, like he's okay. I can't believe I didn't fucking catch that out. Holy fuck, Jesus Christ. Jung has literally no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, he tried to say that Marx's fucking philosophical tenets comes from Kabbalah, comes from fucking Jewish texts and fucking Jewish religious belief. Jesus fucking Christ. No, he was a young Hegelian, for fuck's sake. This all comes from Hegel. God, Jesus Christ.
Right, so I mean, my first point is that you're still influenced by your environment, right? I mean, if your parents, your grandparents are talking about every single day, you could reject that, but it's still going to influence how you perceive the world. That's point one. And then point two is that the Kabbalah infiltrated the larger milieu, the zeitgeist of the times, and so.
What the fuck are we saying, bro? Yeah, we're getting some fucking schizo shit. So basically, he's saying that. Thank you. Okay, so his parents allegedly talked about Jewish religious theory to Marx, and that's what he used in order to base his philosophical tenets for Marxism.
That's crazy.
Dude, we know he went to university and was part of the young Hegelians.
Oh my god.
We know this. Like, that's just, you can look that up. There's texts about this. Okay, dude. Like, nice meme.
So I think it's very hard to understand dialectic materialism and communism without thinking about the Kabbalah. That's my experience. This is something we can go deeper into. I can show you lots of similarities between dialectic materialism and Kabbalah. So
I would love to hear more about that, actually, because I feel like it's what you're describing is like almost foundationally diametrically opposed to my understanding of materialism.
I don't know.
Listen, Hassan's doing the content play. Listen, you gotta fucking tease it out. You gotta tease it out. I would love to hear Jiang, like, endlessly post about Kabbalah and whatnot. Well, it's not that Hassan needs to push back, Boy Meets Mini. Jiang needs to clarify his position here, because Jiang is yet to sort of, like, clarify what he's talking about. He just made a fucking claim. And Hassan is asking, what do you mean by that? In, like, you know, a sort of, like, optically palatable way, to try to, like, tease it out. Now, this is what Hassan is doing here is good.
Thought, especially when paired with the concept of dialectics, which is to disavow the spiritual, which, you know, Hegel's dialectics, yes, was more so about the spirit of certain things, whereas like materialism is all about, you know, the real world, simply put.
Right. Okay. So have you looked at the Tree of Life? The Tree of Life.
No. What is the Tree of Life?
Okay.
I mean, I think
no, he's doing
God's sake.
Boy Meets Mini, he's doing the fucking, this is the Buddhist memes again. He's doing the fucking Buddhist memes. This is like, he's done this before. This is like, he's gonna fucking start talking about chakras and shit. It's just like, fuck off, bro. I don't want your crystal mommy fucking bullshit when we're talking about, like, dialectical materialism. Because, yeah, Marx did, like, I don't know, fucking crystal mommy shit when he was, like, outlining fucking dialectics, bro. Okay, or dialectical materialism. That's the same thing that fucking Hegel was doing. Like, it's fucking stupid.
That is, but I don't know.
Right. Okay. So the Tree of Life is what Kabbalists believe to be the fundamental underlying logic of the universe. Basically, how God thinks. Basically, how the universe moves. Right. So in their understanding, the universe is energy. And this energy has a certain vibration that it moves.
Man, I'm
and
getting
what
spirit science
is how the
flashbacks.
How this universe.
Oh, he does this. Welcome to the Jiang. This is a Jiang consistency. He loves doing like spirit science, like weirdo shit. This is consistent.
Oh no.
Constant.
Great.
Moves. You actually said the Tree of Life. What it is fundamentally is thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Okay. So the idea is like everything produces a polarity, and then this polarity in itself combines to create a new force, which then creates a new polarity. And that's dialectic materialism, right? Marx's great innovation is to say, okay, I'm going to take this idea.
Yeah, man.
And then you get the car up to 88 gigawatts.
Also, by the way, this is not quote unquote Marxist greatest achievements. This is stuff that he's basing from Hegel. Hegel came up with the concept of dialectics. Like, so the whole thing with thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, that's from Hegel. It's just, as Hassan said himself, and he's correct, what Marx basically did is like, well, what if we just do that exact same framework, but through a material lens? Jiang is doing, like, religious mumbo-jumbo, basically, here.
And apply it to economics.
Dialectics, yeah, but I wouldn't say it's materialism. But
right.
Okay, go on. I shouldn't have stopped you. You're lecturing.
Right. No, but I think that's what the Tree of Life teaches you. Like the fundamental force of the universe is the thesis, antithesis, synthesis dynamic, right? And you can also say this as the generative force, productive force, and then creation. And what Marx's great innovation is to recognize that, okay, the priority then is economics, okay, and that's how he came up with dialectic materialism. And before, people appreciate it as maybe thought or religion. And Marx says, no, we can simplify it by prioritizing class.
So technically speaking, what Jiang is saying here in a technical respect is, in a simplified respect, is true. The problem is that the simplicity kind of defeats him here. When Marx is talking about dialectical materialism, he's not just, again, applying like synthesis, antithesis in order to get synthesis. That's not how that exactly works. What he's basically saying is, hey, if I'm taking like Hegel's theories, because again, young Hegelian, I'm essentially going to utilize this in order to put this in a material sort of lens. It pertains to economics, but what Marx means in terms of a material lens is it's based off of class dynamics, it's based off of capital. It's based off of how systems of production basically work. It's a lot more complicated than quote unquote just saying it's economics. But Jiang's simplicity kind of like defeats him here. It's a very, very common pattern of behavior with Jiang.
Right.
Differences.
Okay, I still don't fully understand how that is similar, but maybe I just don't have the brain power to comprehend it. But okay, so what's your spiritual analysis then? Because you said everybody believes something, right? Like everybody has like some kind of spiritual understanding of the world, some kind of religious worldview. What would you say yours is?
Right. So 4 years ago, I was a very happy atheist. I was like you. I was probably more sympathetic to Marx than anyone else. I really believe in dialectic materialism.
Wait, that was 4 years ago? You said?
Yeah, 4 years ago. 4 years
Okay.
ago. And then
the
these
shift.
past 4 years, as I'm teaching history, as I'm teaching the great books, as I'm seeing how things unfold in the world.
Wait, he used to teach history?
I don't understand why you would go ahead and call yourself a predictive historian. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's already, like...
Again...
I don't know how anybody sees this. It goes, what a fucking bullshit artist.
Well, again, here's the thing, specifically, we know where Jiang has graduated. Again, we know that he graduated specifically with a degree in literature. We know this. He's talked about this before on his videos. We also know a lot of his because when did he start posting content? He started posting content right around, I think, 4 years ago. Boy Meets Me, I think. That's when he started like doing his like whole sort of like lecture shtick. And he's also said this himself. He wasn't really anticipating his videos to really go much of anywhere, and then they all of a sudden picked up in terms of virality because of the quote-unquote correct predictions that he made for the 2024 election. Then he all of a sudden became like an overnight sensation, right? That's the fucking Jiang specialty there, I suppose, for like lack of a better term. It's all the stuff that he basically has come up with and is basically saying it's come out of like pure grift. There is nothing really honest about like what Jiang sort of like talks about. He just basically lucked into a lucrative fucking grift and was able to like push a bunch of for lack of a better term, like a bunch of propaganda to a ton of to like a big audience who were just like, whoa, man, this guy, he got like all this like stuff correct. Whoa, that's like totally heckin' epic and crazy and cool.
Here's why I think he became such a sensation, because it just goes from the it stems from the massive distrust people have in not just mainstream media but the political commentary sphere as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like there are some things that he's saying here, and that's what I was saying earlier before, like he throws in an objective fact and then reels you in with a bunch of bullshit. Mm-hmm. A reverse engineering a conclusion that he already came to.
Yes.
And that's...
You're on the money. We've said that before as well.
It's just, again, not only just overdosing on the smell of his own farts, but, taking advantage of the sheer, like, honest, I think, like, a quiet despair. I hate to make it sound morose, but it's just like when you're looking at guys like this and saying, how does this guy get it and everybody else doesn't? When it's like, obvious, like right in front of you, the accumulation of capital, easy money, not really thinking. Just when you have so much power that America does, and especially like the media sphere, it doesn't matter if they're like wrong or the commentary isn't fulfilling. It's just what is going to make the shareholders happy, and it's not a conspiracy anymore. It's it's the direct result of the financialization or the financialization of everything from a hyper-capitalistic society like ours. It's
Mark Fisher.
It's
realism.
Yeah, it's not a big fucking mystery.
Nope.
this guy has made a career, it seems, out of thinking about things way too hard, and takes advantage of people's absolute mistrust in the world around them. And I don't know how, because how do you roll up to a stream like Hassan's and just say, like, yeah, he's basically Dr. Manhattan. He made it all up. He's doing the meme. And it's just, I don't know. If I was,
there's a reason.
If I wasn't having so much fun with this bit, I would actually be pretty fucking mad at this guy.
Oh, well, that's why, again, we have said and coined on this channel.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Thank you, Senator Armstrong. That is why I said he's Jordan Peterson. He is new Jordan Peterson to a T. Because Jordan Peterson did the exact same stuff. All right,
hot take. Hot take. Get ready for this take. You ready for this?
Yeah, what's up?
This is actually Jordan Peterson in a rubber mask. Now let me explain. While he was in the hyperbolic time chamber, trying to get the benzos out of his system,
right?
He can't appear anymore as this weird disheveled guy that sounds like Kermit the Frog, who cries all the time and sounds like Kermit the Frog. He had to do some real Metal Gear Solid half self hypnosis, half micro machines.
yeah, nanomachines, son.
Yeah, he's full nanomachines, and now to kind of complete the disguise, because he's gotten smarter with the help of the tiny robots in his brain. He put he has to have a rubber mask, so he not only fixed the problem of him not being perceived as the guy who cries all the time, and now he's he's completely lost the Kermit the Frog voice. And this guy may be a super genius. He's like a super spy.
Wait, also, he's a visible minority. He can't have, listen, no dishonest, wokey, lefty attacks. Think about it.
Yeah! I'm telling you, that's the guy.
Yeah,
that's the guy playing 4D chess.
Yeah, exactly.
We found you, Dr. Peterson. Don't think you can hide from us.
True.
This crisis of faith. And so when I'm looking at what's happening in Iran, I can't explain it simply using game theory. I can't explain it just using, the geopolitics. I think there's something much larger going on.
But that's your whole bit!
Why?
I mean, he's very selective in terms of his applications of game theory. Very selective.
I can tell.
He uses it when he feels like it.
Donald Trump attacked Iran. You know why? Because
also, I just have to throw this out here real quick. You can see it in Hassan's face. He's there was I think unironic clips of Hassan where he was holding back the laughter.
Yeah, just never meet your heroes.
Yeah, never meet your heroes. Yeah, exactly.
He's never really articulated a good reason why he decided to go and attack Iran.
Why do I think he attacked Iran? Because I think that the axis of resistance was at its weakest point in the aftermath of 3 years of genocide, and that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government was able to make a convincing case to finally strike at Iran, something that numerous American administrations have said no to. And then he believed foolishly that a regime decapitation would actually create ample ground for regime change, with the Kurdish militias on the ground, foment sectarian conflict, things of that nature. Of course, it didn't happen. I think Benjamin Netanyahu probably utilized the Venezuela victory as well to his advantage. And outside of that,
true.
I think ultimately he wanted to disrupt.
Definitely played on Trump's ego for that one, saying it'll be like Venezuela. Trust me, it'll totally work.
Yep.
When obviously, if you know anything about how Iran functions as a government, it's been said before by Bell the Ranch. It's essentially 3 governments in a trench coat, essentially.
Yep.
The global world, the global energy supply coming out of the Gulf, because the Gulf is already far too close to China, America's only, I think, at this point, geopolitical enemy, and they wanted to. I mean, Trump has been doing this already. He wanted to decouple the rest of the world from China. It failed, obviously, with his tariffs. With his Liberation Day tariffs proposals. And then outside of that, I think he wanted to maintain the world's largest known natural oil supplies in Venezuela, which he did. And then he turned around. And thought he could then either A, disrupt the Gulf's energy development and increase the rest of the world's over-reliance on American refined oil, or rather destabilize Iran and then control Iran so that he would no longer have to worry about the rest of the Gulf potentially aligning with China in any meaningful capacity, which could have created a leverage point for China and would have.
Which, by the way, to build on Hassan, because Hassan is a lot of the stuff that he's saying here is an accurate assessment. Part of that is I think it was the UAE, I think, who recently left. Oh, I did a video on this. I think it was the UAE, Boy Meets Spinning, that recently left OPEC, I believe. So the OPEC is the structure that the United States has essentially set up to essentially control the global oil supply coming out of the Gulf states specifically. And the UAE was not particularly happy about a lot of the quotas that was set specifically for them by OPEC, mostly because they're a bunch of greedy bastards and whatnot. And as a byproduct, they wanted to leave OPEC. Partially also because of the war in Iran, so they haven't another reason for as to why they can justify getting out of OPEC, because they can sort of claim that the inherent unstable nature of the United States of America is not going to be economically conducive for them or something. They can justify it that way.
Try to wash the stink off.
Yeah, essentially. Might also leave the Abrahamic Accords. That would be interesting to see.
Probably hard.
What's the over/under though? When if Trump is soundly defeated in the midterms, right? Soundly defeated in the midterms, and cross our fingers and toes, there's a Democrat that wins the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? I think if we give everybody flowers and a box of steaks, as it were, they might come back. They might come back and be like, okay, it seems like America's got a hold on itself.
Oh, that's definitely going to be the case for a bunch of the European countries. Definitely going to be the case for Canada. Absolutely. Because the only reason why we hate America is just because of Trump. That's literally it. Because we fucking hate him.
Oh yeah. I mean, us too. The polls are sinking like a bag of wet cement, and I think though this to say if a Democrat wins presidency, all this goes away is totally foolish.
No, the downstream effects are already being felt now.
Yeah, you have to entirely rebuild Congress. From in my honest opinion, from the bottom up.
That's true.
The way it is structured now is straight up not working, and I think I'm on the record as saying I think we need to reassess the role of the Senate in the future.
The Democrats are never going to do that. That's not happening.
Oh, never in a million years. Never in a million years. I understand
the most that they'll do is probably try to get Puerto Rico and D.C. as states, but that's probably about it. That's the furthest they're willing to go. I mean, Kamala Harris herself has also said that, but who knows if Kamala Harris is not just saying that in order to play to a particular crowd, or if she's saying that to or if she actually genuinely means that. I mean, she's also said she's in favor of packing the Supreme Court. Obviously, the ideal would be to abolish the Supreme Court, but
if an expansion is the most feasible thing we're gonna get out of this geriatric, Congress. To be honest, that's why
there was a bill recently introduced by a Democrat, I think even a moderate Dem, saying that they want to implement 18-year term limits, which I would also accept as well. I think that's also fair.
I think Supreme Court justices need to be elected like anyone else.
That's fair as well. I'd be okay with that.
Like I said, the whole system's busted.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's not working anymore.
And Warframe Sensei, I'm sorry I'm breaking a cardinal rule of streaming and not mentioning the chat directly. Nassau County feels the same way, and that's why I'm running a write-in campaign. I know it sounds like a far stretch because it is. But
Laura Gilman sucks.
She totally sucks. This is the same person who said she'd vote for the Lake and Riley Act twice again, if that was possible. The reason why I'm running a write-in campaign is because I am an artist, and knowing the feeling of picking up a pen and writing down a name, you're not just putting a name down. It's you're actively giving a shit about who you're voting for. You have to actively think about it as you're writing the name in. So, if anything, it's more of a statement on the platform being able to stand on its own. You know, because I'm just, for all intents and purposes, or rather, you know, in every which way but loose, some guy, you know. But if, you know, a goofy, you know, VTuber, electrician, you know, schmo can win elected office, you know, anybody can. And that's how democracy works, when people actually believe in it.
Sure.
So win or lose, you know, win or lose, we're out to change the way we approach voting as a whole. Basically rejecting the choices that the corporate duopoly has given us. Basically, you know, it's the year of our Lord 2026. You do not actually have to eat the shit sandwich.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, yeah, like, I do have to say, Zane, if you can get the fuck out of Florida, you should probably get the fuck out of Florida. That place is fucking cooked. Super cooked.
Unit lost.
Yeah, unit lost.
Very clearly aligned with Russia. That's one major energy provider for them, and they still obviously need oil and gas, whereas they are already in control of the next. They have monopoly control over the next wave of the world's energy supply, the green energy, renewable energy.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Sure.
You know, and if like Barack Obama were president, I would agree with your analysis. We're talking about Donald Trump, right? So the thing about Donald Trump is, in his first term, they tried really hard to debrief him. Like, you know, there's the presidential daily briefing, and they recognized this guy doesn't actually read. So at first they tried a paragraph, like, you know, like instead of one page, let's just give him a paragraph. And it was impossible to focus his attention. He did not care. So then they're like, okay, like we'll do bullet points, okay? Didn't work either. They're like, okay, we'll draw pictures. And like, didn't work either, okay? Even if you do pictures for him, he could not keep focus. He could not absorb what you were telling him about geopolitics. And then they recognized,
which goes to show like how the reluctancy of using the 25th Amendment, it basically makes the Constitution as worthless as the paper it's written.
Yeah, Congress has completely abdicated its sort of responsibility at this point in time. So many instances of like a Congress and the Republicans having to take up its responsibility, it has just refused to do as such. And I mean, this has been the consistent sort of pattern of behavior because of unitary executive theory that's been implemented ever since, well, honestly, Reagan. George Bush significantly accelerated the process. It's a very good Some More News video.
Ronald Reagan, by the way, I know Trump's really bad, but we would not have Trump if it weren't for Ronald Reagan. Donald Trump is Ronald Reagan if he came out of the chicken nugget machine underdone.
Yep.
Without "Make America Great Again" was the slogan Reagan. For that was his re-election slogan.
Yep, that was Reagan. Reagan made America Great Again. He was the first.
Basically the anti-FDR. You want to talk about a class traitor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Attention was to appear on Fox News and tell him the message there. Okay, so this is a guy who has problems paying attention, who has problems being consistent, who has problems putting together coherent thoughts.
He has problems being alive.
Emotional. I think
he has problems breathing. He has problems walking.
I mean, unironically, we've known about like Donald Trump. You know, the dementia stuff is becoming more and more evident and clear. But the whole thing with like dementia dawn, that's been a thing ever since like 2017. And a lot of experts have been saying that. It's just like, his brain has been cooked for like probably about 10 years or something. It was way longer than that.
The problem was also that, you know, the president, the Democratic president, was also sundowning on live television.
That's true. Too much sundowning. It's been like over a decade of sundowning presidents.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
He's very instinctual. He believes his own intuition. So I've a hard time believing that he actually thought it out. You know,
I don't think he did. I think that there are people around him that some he trusts clearly that are manipulating him. They're goading him into taking certain actions. But it's like Joe Biden. Joe Biden was far too old to be making any kind of decisions. It was most likely the team around him that were making these decisions and moving him along. George W. Bush famously wasn't very well put together, but they were just simply signing off on a lot of these things. But I think the people around him...
Yeah, I've talked about this before, but like, you know how Trump loves to complain about Biden was the auto pen? Trump, you're effectively a flesh version of the auto pen. Like, you're not any different, buddy.
No, absolutely not.
We're most likely convinced that this was a decent plan of action, which of course it wasn't. And they had to push back the Chinese summit once. And then when Donald Trump inevitably appeared alongside Xi Jinping in the China summit, because he had to, it was clear that he did not have any leverage. As a matter of fact, he was bargaining from a position of weakness when he went there, and that's part of the reason why he went back on $14 billion arms transfer to Taiwan, which went against like previous American foreign policy, and probably played a major role in
he really dicked that up.
Drew, like, by the way, it was just like completely kind of random, where he, because again, if I recall correctly, with that quote unquote turn back of like $14 billion of aid to Taiwan, he was like, it was already earmarked, and there was like nothing he could do about it. He just like randomly said that he could do it. It's like it's not how any of this works, man.
Yep, it's just whatever saves face.
Mm-hmm. But again, that's because he lost. But you said there was a spiritual reason that like you saw you saw Trump moving against Iran, and that like caused your spiritual awakening. So how did that happen?
Spiritual awakening.
Okay. So it was a series of events. Okay, but my first great epiphany was when I was using Dante, Divine Comedy. And it was my first time.
No, no! Now I'm pissed. Now I'm legitimately mad.
Who wants to make
Dante is my guy. I have read every fucking I'm not kidding. I have read every fucking translation of the Divine Comedy that's currently out and currently, well circulating, including the BBC audio play. Like I fucking love this guy. What has he got? I'm so mad. I'm pissed.
I wonder if he's talking about the version of the Divine Comedy, like the video game version with like the big titty demon or something. Maybe that's what he's talking about. And like the hook scythe, you know what I mean?
Here I am thinking, because that was my favorite game. It was absolutely a God of War clone, and that totally fucking kneecapped it. But the premise of a immersive environment in a literal Dante's Inferno, the Divine Comedy, is gold. Print the fucking money. It's just they had it. That studio that made it, they were so close. They were so close and so far away at the same time. It's kind of tragic. But it's getting a resurgence and being referenced, and people are talking about it with a bit of nostalgia, and that makes me very happy, because like it's a game that to me I know sucks, but it is so cool at the same time.
What did it suck? Honestly, it just seems like it was like a very, very niche game that came out during a time of like a bunch of different hack and slashes. It just didn't get the popularity. Because I guess there was Devil May Cry, God of War, a bunch of other games as well. That just had,
I guess I'm going deeper into why. I guess I both have a love-hate relationship. It's complicated, I guess. My relationship with the Dante's Inferno game is complicated because there's some things there's an equal amount of things that are great and and just don't work. But that's an ideological and design thing. Not a big deal. Let's see.
Yeah, what do you got, Jiang Divine Comedy? What do we got?
And it took me a long time to try to appreciate its beauty, its truth. When I did, I recognized that this could not have been written by a human being. It is just so beautiful, so perfect, and it revealed a deeper truth. And my only conclusion is this was not written by a human being.
Dude, it was...
The whole point is that he is a person! The whole point, if he fucking read the poem, which he didn't because he's a fucking moron, but the whole point is that I swear to God, like I'm not even kidding, it's in like the 5th canto. It's in the first fucking 10 cantos. He's just like, I'm just a guy. I'm a human being. I fucked up in life. Like, why me? And Virgil's like, because because your girl loves you. And then it's like, oh my God, just like my animes. And then they go into hell, No, it's fanfic. No, it's fanfic.
No, this was definitely written by. You don't get it. It was definitely written by an alien. Come on.
All right. All right. I'm sorry. I must have spoken out of turn with the doctor. Fucking Dr. Dipshit.
Will out of his own experience. A lot of things. I felt he was channeling God. I felt he was channeling the universe, and then explain the truth in poetry. And so the Divine Comedy, what it tells us is that there are two worlds. There's a material world in which we live, and then there's a spiritual world in which our consciousness inhabits. So think of our consciousness as inhabiting
40K?
dimensions. And our consciousness is able to access the entire universe if we train our consciousness to meditate, to focus, to be ever present. And once we do that, then great truths reveal to us.
Dude, he's talking about psychers.
So
this is literally Warhammer 40K.
Okay, I could have had the same philosophical output as he did, which is go outside, take a walk around, the block, go walk your dog, log off, don't think about shit too hard.
True.
How about the Mets? Actually, don't answer that.
It's not always about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets, baby.
About the Mets, baby.
Love the Mets. Love the Mets.
It's
baby.
about the Mets, baby.
Hit the home run. Let's go Mets. Hit a home run, baby. Let's go Mets.
And I look deeper into this, I recognize that this is what every single great religious and spiritual tradition has taught before. That ultimately we are part of the divine, that God is in us, and that we are in God. And as I continue to study more and more history,
the Emperor's
I recognize that
trust me, guys.
Most humans throughout most of human history have believed this, and the structured societies around us are.
Quick reminder, of course, Warhammer 40K has definitely made references and allusions to the Divine Comedy. Again, that's why we're making all these jokes.
You know, if I had a little more fuck you money, I think I would have gotten into Warhammer. Because I like painting little miniatures. I just don't have the money or time.
True. Same.
Completely materialistic. And that we deny the existence of God, that we deny the existence of the soul, of consciousness. In neuroscience, no one has actually spent any research into the nature of our consciousness. And that's kind of weird because we spend most of our time thinking, right? So, why haven't we looked...
Well, the problem is that it's kind of difficult to measure with instruments the nature of human consciousness. How do you develop an instrument to measure something like consciousness?
I guess we're gonna find out. I don't think we have a choice.
True.
Where our thoughts come from, how we structure our thoughts, and how we communicate our ideas. So the Divine Comedy was a great awakening. And then, as I studied history, I recognize a great paradox in our history, which is scientists know that our minds, the way that our minds are structured, the frontal lobe, our minds have been this way for the past 200,000 years. But we only have like 10,000 years of recorded history. So what were we doing before the Ice Age? We were just in caves, freezing to death, or running around chasing monkeys. What were we doing for 200,000 years? And then you look at a place like...
I don't know, man. It hasn't been written down.
I don't know.
We can only guess. Probably just kind of vibing, living or something. Maybe organizing primitive societies or tribal societies or something. I don't fucking know. But who knows? No one wrote that shit down.
Maybe he went to school for fucking history and not literature.
Yeah. This is basically vibe coding before it was cool. That's true, Points Mini.
Like Tepe, in Turkey. You look at places like the Amazon forest, the Grand Valley in the United States. There's so much evidence of previous civilizations in these places before, and so I don't know how much of our history is real. Oh
my fucking God! Stop.
Dude, you're getting the Jug special right here. He's just full on schizo posting right now. Yeah, he's doing ancient alien memes basically. This is the full schizo nonsense of Jung.
Now we need to really ask if I'm not letting us come away from Dante so quick. I'm now trying to see where exactly Professor Jiang would be in hell. I'm going through the Rolodex because he's got if he wants to believe this, which I encourage him to do so, because his afterlife would be very funny. The first thing that could possibly happen, because if he believes in nothing and only is neutral while under the guise of being the sort of philosopher, he could be in the anti-hell, which is him running around forever, chasing a yellow banner, stepping on wasps, hornets, and fire ants, and all sorts of other creepy crawlies, and being stung by wasps, and running around chasing the banner forever and ever, can never catch it. The second place he could possibly be is somewhere in the Malabulge, and let me tell you, that's not a fun place to be. He could be with the flatterers and be stuck in a river of shit.
Okay.
Literal shit his entire life.
All right.
He could end up with the, if he's channeling the divine, then he'll probably be with the soothsayers and basically walk around in circles with his head looking at his shoulders. So basically, if you look down, he could see his ass. And he's walking around crying for eternity while walking forwards and looking backwards. Another place he could possibly be is the fifth circle, which is for blasphemers.
That's a good one, I think, for Jiang.
Oh, that's fun. That's really fun for him.
He's definitely a blasphemer.
He will then be in a smoldering tomb.
Okay.
In which case, he also cannot see anything that happens in the future. He can only see what happens in his past. Basically, when he's introduced to a sinner who is in those smoldering tombs, they say, we have no view of the present, and all we know is what you're telling us of the you being a live person. Mm-hmm. All of our knowledge will be completely useless when the door to the future is closed forever. That's the refrain.
Interesting. So
yeah,
basically,
he's fucked.
Yeah, he's basically fucked. In every which way, completely screwed. Just cooked.
Totally cooked. And no limbo for him, because then he could at least chill out with like all the poets of antiquity and Socrates and Plato. Yeah, that seems like a cool place to be, not for nothing. But
get into a pointless argument with Socrates.
Oh, basically. I mean, if you want to do that for eternity, go nuts. But I'm gonna, take my chances and go to church every Sunday.
That's fair.
But totally fucking cooked.
Totally.
Literally, if he's going to hell.
True.
And also, I've been looking into certain conspiracy theories, such as a moon landing, such as JFK, such as 9/11, and the evidence is kind of overwhelming.
It's a cavalcade of hits.
Oh yeah. Listen, like I said before, like he loves his conspiracism, especially when it comes to Jewish people. He loves that.
In what direction? Is his faith?
And the government is covering things up, right? I mean, like, just look at 9/11. You just Google World Trade Center building number 7. You're like, oh, wait a minute here.
Face.
Oh yeah, like, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse.
He is not looking at him. He's looking at chat.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I like
the frame we stopped on Professor Jean. He's like,
yeah. You convinced us on about my Divine Comedy enlightenment or something?
If I was those body language freaks, I would say like he's in the posture of trying to sell you something. Like, hey, listen close, I'll tell you a secret.
yeah. Snake oil salesman.
Very silly. A very silly guy.
3 buildings came down that day. So how did that happen? Right? And like the moon landing. Oh, okay, we got the moon, but apparently we lost all.
How'd that happen? Who's to say?
Yeah, totally. NASA wasn't given a bunch of money and not incentivized to learn how to land on the moon to beat the Soviets one final time.
Oh my God.
The technology. We lost all the data, the telemetry data, and we lost all the footage. So I'm
telling you, Jung would love. He would love 40K.
Oh, it's a huge bureaucratic organization, and they lost all the technology.
So what do you think is going on? Like you think they just like faked all of it? Like they set up 9/11 on their own to like go to war in the Middle East to create sufficient cause? Is that what it is?
Again,
it's a question you gotta ask, but that's opening a Pandora's box.
Yeah. Now, if I recall correctly, I don't know if he's gone over in any of the videos we've taken a look, Boyd Spinney. We've watched a bunch of Professor Jung. Again, I'm going to say that in the chat and in the video and whatnot. We've watched a bunch of Jung. Did he do any 9/11 trutherism? I don't think he did with any of the people that he spoke. Again, complete audience capture. If he has an opportunity to be a 9/11 truther, he'll be like a 9/11 truther. I don't think he's going to pull that shit here. Probably not. Mostly because it's just like, he knows that besides what he's saying right now, it already looks as ridiculous as possible. He knows that he would probably look even more silly than normal in front of Hassan's chat if he were to pull like weird 9/11 trutherisms and stuff. And he might potentially get banned. Potentially.
And its impact on the imagination of people, it's really hard to understand what their motivations are, right? But once you understand their cult, once you look into secret societies, they really believe
secret
they have a
societies?
mandate from God
He loves
to
secret
remake
societies.
the world in a certain way that
This is
welcomes
Jiang
God
special.
to our world, right? So look at artificial intelligence. And like this New Yorker article by Ronan Farrow on Sam Altman, where he interviews some OpenAI researchers, and they say like, oh, we're trying to summon demons with AI. Like, they're being literal about this. They're not joking about this. They're not being metaphorical. They're being
You don't
literal.
think that's just self-interested to greatly increase the potential impact of AI and how
That
scary
would be
it is
sick,
in an effort
though.
to
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, but we know that's definitely not going to be the case. But whatever.
Have you seen the AI videos of WWE? There's like an unmanned WWE AI channel that kind of flips out.
Really? Oh, like in what's like the games where they have like the wacky animations where it just like breaks basically, like
No,
the 2K
no, this
games,
is
kind of?
no,
Is
this is
like that?
different.
Oh,
This
okay.
is like it's an AI slop tuber channel where it's just an AI voice over pictures, it's like static pictures of WWE shit. And for a while there was this unmanned AI channel that kept pumping out these videos where the language learning model would crash and then like completely like gargle and skip words and basically have a friggin' seizure. And it was very funny, but they found it and now it no longer makes videos like that.
Yeah, because
someone saved it.
Stuff.
Yeah, but someone saved it, and if you ever have the time, it's fucking crazy. But that's the only way I can see that happening. But no, Professor Jean is this, he's lost his fucking marbles.
Yep.
justify all the additional billions of dollars in fundraising, because there's two different schools of thought on this, right? Many people don't believe the AGI is truly possible, and then there are some who are simply trying to feed the bubble to the best of their ability, and part of that is to say that AI is going to take over everything. It's so scary, and that actually causes a lot of people to pay close attention to it and to continue giving money to it. To continue giving money to the likes of Sam Altman specifically, so they can continue, I guess, trying to develop it to the best of their ability. I do have a question for you. So you said you read The Divine Comedy only 4 years ago. That seems a little far-fetched, considering that you got an English degree from Yale.
Well, I mean, the
for
Divine Comedy
real.
isn't Italian, right?
Would they go over the Divine Comedy in like a literature course? Would they?
Yeah, it's like one of the, especially if you're doing like a poem, like a
Quick, just to say real
prose
quick.
class, something like that.
Yeah, real quick. I am a fucking STEM nerd here. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I'm a theater humanities kid, so we got the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
on
we
this
got the
stream.
entire spectrum.
We got the spectrum, baby. But what's it? Yeah, usually in like like if you're doing like a history of literature or like even World Lit 101, Dante is going to be in that curriculum. Like you can't escape him.
Interesting.
So yeah, so again, not surprising, but he's full of shit out of his eyeballs.
No, I'm curious.
Right? So we read Shakespeare, Milton, Keats, Wordsworth. We're reading English poetry.
So you didn't read Divine Comedy through your English major at Yale?
No. And Divine Comedy is actually very hard to read.
Yeah. This is
No.
this is how you know he's full of shit. There's no
That's
fucking way.
that's
I don't believe it.
crazy.
For fucking yeah. Even I don't fucking believe that. I'm like, yeah, you're capping. That's cap. It's like Dennis Prager saying like, that's cap. You are capping. I accuse you of cap. Guys, that's a bunch of bull. There's no fucking way he didn't read or like know anything about the fucking Divine Comedy. I like no. That's a bunch of hooey. No fucking shot.
Horse feathers.
I mean, I read a lot of classics at Yale. I read, Homer and Plato, but we never read the Divine Comedy.
Okay, I mean,
We should have.
We read it in. I think we read. I mean, I read it in Turkey in like 8th grade, I think. But you know, I didn't fully understand
That's
it.
funny.
But then again, I also didn't think that it was like a divine intervention that like was incepted into Dante's brain.
I spent the past 2 weeks teaching Divine Comedy, and I spent every single day trying to tell people this is God's work. This is not Dante. This is the universe taking possession of Dante
Sure, man.
in order to spread the divine fire to humanity.
I guess.
Well, so here's the thing with Jiang. Real fucking quick. Yeah, this is blasphemy, by the way. So fifth circle.
Yeah, fifth circle.
Fifth circle.
This
He's
is
going to that one. That's blasphemy right there. Very often in a lot of his analysis, Jiang will say that God just took possession of people in order to, I don't know, have his divine will enacted upon like the world during like historical events, which is just like, no, it's a bunch of fucking hooey, bro. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, if he didn't want to, I mean, I don't think he can help it, but if he didn't want to sound like a lunatic, he could have just said divinely inspired, which you could argue that yes, you know, people get inspired and make masterpieces. You know, it's goes back, and Dante talks about the muses.
Yeah, but no,
You know
here's
what I mean?
but here's the thing: people have done that rhetorically before, and since we're dealing with someone whose audience captured, he's got to go even further beyond. Got to do like, oh yeah, he was possessed by God to do this shit. It's just like, yeah, man, totally. Like not even like the most like alt-right fucking weird. Maybe like, you know, the more like Christo-fascist fucking weirdos. They may do that, but most of the alt-right people are not going to say that someone got like overtaken by God to create a particular piece of work. That's just not. Even they don't do that because they know that's way too far-fetched.
I spent the past 2 weeks doing that, and it's on my channel. So
Okay. And you're okay. So you read Divine Comedy, and that just like one-shotted you. It one-shotted your mind, and that somehow ties back to Donald Trump's invasion plans of Iran, and that put you down this journey. But that happened, that didn't happen 4 years ago, right? That happened 130 days ago is when Donald Trump kickstarted Operation Epic Fury. So the timeline is a little messed up for me. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to.
Okay. All right. So here's my theory, and again, I could be completely wrong. Okay, but based on my reading of Divine Comedy, this is what I think happened. Okay, there are
That's just a theory.
Jewish occultists, okay, Kabbalists, okay, who are intent on ushering the end times because they want God to come to Earth and to reunite with the Jewish people. Okay, and so
Very, very common amongst Jiang. He loves talking about the end times. What's the theory again we talked about, Boy Meets Mini, that Jiang is consistently mentioning here? We did this in our last Jiang tent deep dive when he was talking about. Was it the Nephilim? I'm trying. No, it wasn't the fucking Nephilim. The sort of like religious philosophy that he talks about. That wasn't Nephilim. That's when he was like talking about, Cyrus the Great and the 12 tribes of Judea being like kicked out, blah 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 blah, and all that shit because of like the Babylonians, and then making the return and all that shit. It's a particular religious theory that Jiang uses. And it very much so focuses on like what brings about the end times. I don't remember exactly what it is, but that's like this is Jiang using that theory pretty much to a T. He loves that theory.
He's also conflating. What most evangelical Christians believe, and especially like the white supremacists, like the bad ones, right? That they may be, fascists, but they are for Israel because it's to, get all of the world's Jewish population into Israel so that the second coming of Christ can appear, and then Judea
Jiang,
burns in a fire.
Yeah, Jiang,
like that.
Yeah, Jiang doesn't prescribe to that because that's what all the current evangelicals prescribe to, and that's like cringe. Yes, eschatological history. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's what he does. Jiang doesn't do. He doesn't prescribe to that specifically. He more so talks about the third temple. He doesn't do the whole rapture evangelicism bit because he's getting. Yeah, he's like right on the cusp of it, but he makes sure he does like a little bit of a left turn so he can sound different. That's why.
It's sort of like it goes back against the audience capture. A little Christo-fascism as a treat.
Yeah, exactly.
One group that is very prominent, very powerful, are the Chabad-Lubavitch movement, and then Rebbe Sneerson was leader of that movement for many decades.
Wait, okay, I have to say.
Oh, okay.
Chabad-Lubavitch. Chabad and Chabad-Lubavitch Hasidic dynasty and global movement within Haredi Judaism. It is among the world's largest, most influential, and most publicly visible movements of Hasidic Judaism. Yeah, this is where we're getting into the schizo stuff. Known for its extensive network of institutions and active engagement with Jews of all affiliations worldwide, in contrast to the generally insular orientation of most Haredi groups. Found in 1775 by Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi in Lienzo. Then in the Russian Empire, Chabad takes its name from the Hebrew acronym Chokmah, Bina, and Da'at. Again, that's the tree of life right there, which is why Jung brought it up to begin with, which reflects its emphasis on intellectual contemplation and a Kabbalistic theology. Okay, nice meme.
He's obviously passed away. But the thing about Lubavitch is like they are the largest property owners in Brooklyn. Okay, so they bought property way back before World War II, and now they're basically the biggest real estate developer in Brooklyn. And a lot of people that are in real estate are maybe front people for the Chabad Lubavitch movement, including like the Kushner family, right? And Donald Trump would obviously have had dealings with that Lubavitch. They're not interested in the mature world. They don't care about that. What they're interested in is fulfilling their end times prophecy. There are three major pillars to the end times prophecy. The first is...
By the way, he's done this before, where he has said that this is the new, because he's talked about like the Freemasons. He's talked about like other religious movements. I forget the name of them. He's now moving on to Chabad Lubavitch. This is what he's jingling keys about now, essentially.
This is again what makes it, you know, like I said, if we weren't having so much fun, I would be really,
yeah.
I'd be really fucking mad at this guy. He's falling for every single one of these fucking tricks that white supremacists use to, you know, delegitimize the diaspora as just like this insular bunch of psychopaths. It's nuts, and it's so fucking destructive.
True.
I hate it.
Is the completion of the Greater Israel Project, right? Second is the return of the Jewish diaspora to Jerusalem. They want all Jews to return to Israel, and they're fanatical about it. They're very serious about it. And the third is the building of the third temple, because that is where God will live. Okay, so if you just go into the Chabad Lubavitch movement, they're fanatical about these three objectives. And for decades, they were planning this. Now, the thing about these religious Jews is they spend all their time meditating on the Torah.
Wait, Professor Zhao, before we move on, I have to ask you some questions here. So you're saying the Chabad Lubavitch movement predates Zionism as an ideology, and that it was actually a foundational ideology before Zionism, pre-Theodor Herzl, pre-Jabotinsky, and the like, and that they are responsible for Zionism as a prominent ideology, the settler colonial ideology?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's be precise. So after
the please.
This is going to be interesting. We're getting into the it's time for the anti-Semitism memes more than likely, but yes, it would have a little bit of an inconsistency in terms of Zionism and because again, like Jung doesn't think about ideology because he's not interested. It has to all be like secret society bullshit.
Because that's easier for dummies that he panders to swallow this information. Like there's no critical thought here. It's all just mysticism that, you know, takes away that, you know, you said it, jingles keys and distracts us from the real target, which is, you know, unfettered global capital.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of the guy, you know, he's talking about the, I think he heard
Frankists.
But about the
it was the Frankists before. Now he's jingling keys over Chabad Lubavitch. Yep. It used to be Frankists, which was another like Jewish order when he was like trying to explain like basically who controls the annals of the U.S. government. I don't remember which sect it was. I think it was the military. No, he said the Freemasons were the military. And the Frankists were Congress, something like that. And now he's jingling keys about some other like Jewish secret society, the world order bullshit.
Yeah, crazy talk, literal crazy talk.
The idea, there were many different groups, including the Freemasons, including the 17 Frankists, many different groups who were interested in the second coming of Jesus. Okay, people like Isaac Newton thought that now that you have direct access to the Bible. The Bible is the divine plan because the Bible is literally the word of God, right? And if you read the Bible in a certain way, right? If you focus on the books of Daniel, the books of Ezekiel, and the book of Revelation, this divine plan is going to reveal itself to you, and this divine plan calls for all three things. Okay, so it's not just
just a quick fact. This is how the lizardmen work within Warhammer Fantasy. I'm telling you, he would love Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer in general.
about Lubavitch people. It's also a lot.
Yes, resident Christian in chat, Boy Meets Mini. No, the Bible is the inspired word of God. Because again, quick reminder: who wrote the Bible? It's men. Men wrote the Bible.
And who edited the Bible.
Yep.
Who translated it.
The Bible
and everything.
well.
Yeah, it's a 2,000-year-old dead language. Of course, there's going to be mistranslations. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's going to be stuff that's missing.
Yep.
But the whole point is that it's parables that help society lead to a better life without, without the marvels of science, a way to explain things in that day.
No, this is clearly divine intervention by God, Steamboat.
Oh, excuse the fuck out of me.
Mm-hmm. You gotta get it right, man.
The Freemasons, a lot of different secret societies. They believe that for God to return, you need to meet certain conditions. And again, this is a fringe group of people, but unfortunately, this fringe group of people tend to have all the power in the world. Okay, so
I don't know if that's the case. Like,
okay.
Oh my God! Of course they did. Of course they did, Dr. John.
Yep. Welcome to the Jiang standard right here. Now we're getting into the real Jiang standard. By the way, this is why I've said this before. This is why he's honestly worse than Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson would not do this. He does not do these anti-Semitic conspiracy memes because he's a tenured professor. He knows how to actually read and understand things. This guy's just a fucking crank. He's a random high school teacher who's just, I don't know, like
a crank.
Yeah, he stumbled into a good grift. He got lucky in the YouTube algorithm and then became really popular as a result. That's Jiang.
So one could say he was a
bit of a quack.
Yeah, all right.
Oddly speaking,
no more sound
fairly dominant ideology amongst a lot of evangelical Christians, and certainly many American or Western Jews as well. But having said that, I don't believe that this is a foundational ideology that predates the inception of Zionism itself under the likes of Theodore Herzl. There was plenty of discourse around it when it first was being discussed. Many Jews were against it. As a matter of fact, Jews were primarily against it, both for theological justifications, different sects of Judaism that understood it as I don't know what the term would be in Judaism, but heretical, right? As in,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's
Jews
right.
are not supposed to maintain a nation state before the return of the Messiah. And then there were plenty of Jews who were just basically secular, even though Theodore Herzl and many of the other founding fathers of Israel were also secular themselves.
Well.
But there was the Bundist movement that was anti-fascist and therefore opposed any kind of settler colonial enterprise, such as what Zionism would bring about. So I don't know if that's I don't know if that would be a...
Well, this is what I was about expecting from Hassan Boy Meets Mini, because, again, like, a crank like Jiang is just like, oh, yeah, it was definitely, like, secret societies of Sabatine Frankus, the Freemasons, and now the Chabad Lubavitch, which he probably, like, read some or heard some video of, like, some crank talking about it, and then decided to, like, integrate that all into his, like, grand, like, anti-Semitic fucking conspiracy theory. And...
a literal 10-minute Google search would have completely blown it out of the water.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, we can talk, because we know about the actual... Thank you, 235. We know about the actual history when it comes to all this stuff. We know exactly where this all got built out of. We know about the writings of Theodore Herzl. We can literally go find those. And it's always been intended... Like, I mean... Hassan is obviously, like, correct here that it mostly came into motion during the 1900s, Balfour Declaration, all that stuff. But this stuff mostly came out of the 1850s because of the rise of what? Anti-Semitism happening in Europe again because of France. France was popularizing anti-Semitism again. It spread all across Europe because of a lot of economic problems happening throughout Europe during those times as a byproduct of a lot of differing wars. Mostly because of the Napoleonic Wars, specifically, those devastated Europe. And as a result, economic hard times because of the Napoleonic Wars. And Europe was still recovering from that. People were pissed off because of how, well, ineffective the recovery was. and the transition, of course, from the more monarchistic systems that used to exist as a byproduct of the French Revolution to the more nation states that we have right now. It caused a lot of economic instability, and people were looking for scapegoats to blame. Where do they point to? Oh, the Jews, which happens throughout history consistently. And that's where Zionism mostly started to come out of, where it started to be talked about, where, you know what? We've had enough of being, of all this, like, blood libel and anti-Semitic bullshit that we're dealing from the Europeans. We need our own nation so we can stay safe from these fucking psychos. And obviously, it ended up going in the fascistic direction that it was taken in, because Theodore Herzl won out in terms of the ideological battle, because there was a lot of also lefty Jews who were also some flavor of Zionist. But in terms of like the ideological battle that was waged in terms of Zionism, it ended up being the fascistic colonial sort of ideology that won out. But I mean,
it's also an incredibly Eurocentric ideology, Zionism.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Theodor Herzl was I guess you could really call him a Germanophile. He loved everything about Germany. It's expansion. He loved the expansionism. He wanted to be like a still have a Germanic view, or like a secular like a country. You know what I mean? It when you mix religion and politics, you can't. But that's what makes it antithetical to Judaism as a whole, because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to make it. You hit it before. You're not supposed to make a state. You're not supposed to mingle, not to shit where you eat.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean, Torah literally talks about this, but I don't think.
Yep.
I don't think Theodore Herzl was cared too much about the Torah, guys. I don't think so.
He was also a literal paranoid schizophrenic.
Why am I not surprised?
No, of course not. It shouldn't be.
A guiding principle, and I also certainly don't believe that the groups that were able to purchase real estate in Brooklyn are the most powerful financial force in American politics, let alone global politics. I mean, it's just Brooklyn real estate.
Right. Okay. So again, you're absolutely right. These points
exactly.
Right.
I remember someone was trying to get me on this on Twitter, where I was just where that was the deed theft was happening, and they're trying to fish out of me to say that they were trying to get me to JQ, and I was just like, what do you mean? Who's buying up all the property? Who are you talking about? I'm like,
private equity.
Equity, which is probably, if anything, run by Christian Zionists. It's like it's global capital, and they try to fish it out of me.
Yeah, they were jacking off a little too much, too much in the jack off.
And I was just like, it's actually that's what makes it so the banality of evil, because it's very boring. It's money. That's it.
Couldn't get the debate out of you.
Zionism in the year 1900, when Theodor Herzl was active, it was a very fringe thing. Only about 1% of all Jews around the world support the idea of like, let's pack our bags, leave our middle class life in England and America, and go to a desert in the middle of nowhere. Like 1% of Jews actually believe this. And you're actually right in that.
Before the 1900s, even. It's like late 1800s, I think.
So I think Theodor Herzl's book, Judenland, was published in the year 1899.
Yeah.
So at this point in history, the idea of return to Jewish homeland, Jerusalem, it is not popular. But as you point out, the other issue is that it is heretical, right? Because the very basis of Zionism, Christian Zionism, is that you can actually manipulate history.
It's like a fucking roller coaster. He just first he gets you with it's a weird Eurocentric movement, and then as soon as you hit the top, then it goes to mysticism and cabal and all this bullshit. It's like a fucking roller coaster. It's fucking exhausting.
Yes. Welcome to Professor Jiang. This is very, very consistent.
God's will, right? It is God's will that the Jews be dispersed around the world because of their sins, because of their lack of faith in God. And when God has chosen the Jews already, then he will send a Messiah to take them back to the promised land. Okay, that's the order of things. And so the priority for Jews is to practice a life of piety, a life of goodness, a life of generosity. And then when God is ready, then the Messiah will come. Okay, that's what most Jews believe.
Okay, quick question for you.
Dr. Jiang, he's on it. It's those greedy Jews.
Yeah, no, this is like the messianic fucking bullshit. This is not true. This is not what most Jews fucking believe in. It's
not at all.
It's kind of more. Listen, yeah, you're New York born, New York native, of course. So you probably would have a pretty good idea probably being around a lot of them, what they probably think. Like, it's the stupid messianic Christian fucking bullshit that he's trying to say, basically put out here. It's nonsense.
I can absolutely guarantee you nobody normal thinks this. I promise you. Well, nobody thinks about this.
Welcome to Professor Jiang.
I don't know how many Jewish friends you have, but at least maybe in the spaces that I occupy, they don't believe any of that shit. As a matter of fact, for the most part, most Jews that I know at least are, they're atheists. They say they're Jewish. They may have, attended a couple dinners every now and then, but for the most part, they're just, they're chill
about
it.
They'll do the bar mitzvah. They'll do the Hanukkah. They'll do all the,
Catholics have Catholics have it too. They celebrate Christmas. Celebrate Good Friday, Easter, all that.
Passover, all that shit.
Yep.
Like a lot of Jews are secular. I don't think they believe any of this stuff. So I don't know if we're.
I went to Yale. So I didn't know a lot of Jewish people. But
so the Jewish people that you met at Yale, they were like, "This is what we're about. We got to live a life of piety."
No. They were secular. They were extremely intelligent. They were very open-minded. They were very cosmopolitan. They were secular. I don't recall meeting any religious Jews. But what I've learned is this. Okay, you have about 1 million people. You actually don't need that many people in order to create a movement that has a direct influence on geopolitics. If only 1% of these 1 million people decide, you know what, we really believe in something fanatically, and we're willing to sacrifice our lives in order to achieve our goal, and we're willing to pour resources, and we're willing to spend the rest of our lives doing this. And not only that, but we're willing to indoctrinate our children to complete our mission, and our grandchildren to complete this mission over the course of 100 years. Well, this 1% is going to have a lot of influence in finance, a lot of influence in business, a lot of influence in politics and geopolitics.
Yeah, now we're doing the fucking Pepe posts. Buddy, that's just like the byproduct of how colonization works. This is how fascism works, bro. Like, that essentially indoctrinate them, get at them young, in order to justify a fucking colonial movement.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince us that fascism just came in like red accessories and poorly coiffed hair. It's just what happens when, people centralize all of their money and power to lord it over people who they deem the other. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what, that our fascist movement in America is so fucking diverse. It's nuts. It's like the case in point, Nick Fuentes, which, don't believe a single thing that guy says, and don't think that this face turn he's on is anything
what do you mean?
Authentic or nothing.
He's always been a Democrat. What do you mean? He loves living in Illinois.
Oh, I'm shy. I bet it's a great place. It's a great city.
Yes, yeah, of course, Boy Meets Mini. I mean, the same justification like Brahmins make. It's the same justification that people within power make all the time. Like Han ethno-nationalists also think like this. Every form of like weirdo, like white supremacist type thinks like this. It's consistent. Like, we can insert differing group here instead of the Jews, and we can do the exact same logical through line. We take out Jews and put in Brahmins. We can put I don't know like what class distinction like weird Han ethno-nationalists have, but it's all about fucking money and power. But like Jung has to try to simplify that for his like dumbass audience, just be like, not secret societies and all that shit, and that's why they do all this propaganda for like years. Therefore, that's how you get all this power. It's like, well, it's not exactly how that works. Zionism, the reason why it is as prominent and powerful as it is because they had a lot of help from certain capital interests throughout the years in order to justify their existence within the Middle East.
Yep.
Britain, a bunch of different places.
So you think it's
because it also, the simplicity in which he, summarizes all of this shit, it really does betray the actual struggle of the diaspora. In olden days, right? I'll say, a lot of Jewish people would take the usury positions that Christians would consider, usury and sin, because we don't have to deal with them. They can go to hell, but we'll be partying with God, and that's part of that historical oppression, and the Jewish people have survived and thrived because they rose above the hate. That's why, they were able to make their lives work despite everybody in the world hating them. And here's this fucking dipshit saying that no, this was all a nefarious scheme for a couple of Jewish families to gain power. I don't remember if he touched on it in this miserable exchange, but I'm sure as shit he thinks some nefarious Rothschild schemes are afoot.
Oh, he's done that when talking about Epstein.
Of course.
Yeah.
I
haven't gone over that. We haven't gone over that video yet. It's on the docket, but yeah, he did that for Epstein.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know about it. So I'm just like, because of course, why wouldn't he? Because he's a dunderhead. And if he had any lick of historical knowledge, he would have known that, and he would have not gone on this bullshit.
Guys that have a lot of influence in finance, it's not just like even if, because the common trope is there's a lot of Jewish people in positions of power, right? And in the field of finance and whatnot. I don't think any of those guys are a part of Chabad Lubavitch, or maybe some might be, but by and large, I think there are some who are Zionists, some who have varying degrees of interest in defending Israel's interest, but for the most part, they have their own self-interest. From my perspective, it's regardless of what someone's religious background is maintaining their class position, right? Okay. Jewish, Christian, doesn't matter. That's the.
I can't believe that we're introducing materialism to all this. Wait, hold on. Now, how will Jiang take care of this? Because this is not the first time this has happened before. Because, again, it is all about... In reality, it's all about material analysis here. And partially the Balfour Declaration was built out of anti-Semitism. Because England really hated Jewish people at that time. And they wanted to kick them out. But Jiang will never talk about that. Because it's inconvenient to his... it's inconvenient to his narrative.
Basically, France and England were having a pissing contest between who hates the Jews more.
Yes. Thank you, England and France, for doing this shit. And that's mostly why, the colonization under Zionism, shall we say in a metaphorical sense, got quite a boot up its ass. Sure, let's go with that. It's never really been about material analysis for someone like Jiang. It's all about pushing the conspiracism first and foremost, because again, it's what appeals to the audience right now. Yeah, reframes it as Britain's savior complex to cover up anti-Semitism. Yeah, exactly. Minnie.
That's the way I interpret the world, at least. Right.
Okay. All right. So there's certain things about Donald Trump.
Because I don't think Hasidic Jews run finance, is what I'm saying. That would be a shock to me.
Right. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Chabad Lubavitch, they run everything. Okay. But
okay, buddy.
But okay. This is really complicated. So let me go step by step. Okay. Chabad Lubavitch, they're interested in religious meditation. They're interested in mysticism. Okay. They're interested in ideas, and so they focus all their energies on on meditation. Okay. And what they pray for is, of course, the coming of Messiah and the return of the Jews to Jerusalem and to be one with God. And
so they held hands and went, "We care." We care.
Yeah, they held hands and said, "We're gonna buy property in Brooklyn." That's what they said. That's what they did.
Verbatim.
Yeah, exactly.
If we believe the universe is pure energy, if we believe the universe is conscious, then these ideas would be uploaded to the universal subconscious. Okay, does that make sense? Because
like the Matrix.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, honestly, it's 40K. By the way, what if I were to tell you we've taken a look at a previous video before, but this is the whole thing with the Nephilim shit, Boy Meets Minnie, that we covered previously. Yeah, that's where the fucking Nephilim stuff comes in with the I forget the name of the creator of that whole Book of Thomas Nephilim fucking bullshit. Basically, like 40K, and it's kind of supposed to be a little bit of Spinoza here. Everything has a conscious, everything has a subconscious, not a subconscious, but everything has consciousness, and if you're a sentient being, and it all goes back to this sort of malaise and pool that it's a differing sort of realm. I'm not doing a very good job here at summarizing Spinoza, but basically Spinoza's whole thing is that he believes that every single sentient being has some form of a soul, some form of like, and all conscious beings, all sentient beings have some form of soul that ends up like going back somewhere. Which same thing that they pulled for 40K as well. I'm telling you, this guy would fucking love. He would love Warhammer. He really would.
I think though that would fall. I don't know. That's kind of like giving Batman a Green Lantern ring, because now because now all of the visions of prophecy will will manifest itself in little miniatures, and then he'll go on and talk about how Trump is actually the emperor.
He's the savior of Christ. Yeah, exactly.
Savior Christ, and he's the emperor that just like in a deteriorating body makes decisions in a chair and on life support. Just wacky shit. Keep him away from miniatures.
Yeah, true.
I don't believe we're all uploading our energy into a collective consciousness or anything.
But I'm saying let's just work with that, okay? So through the meditation of 1,000 people over decades, there are certain ideas that are embedded now in the universal subconscious. But as you're uploading, you're also downloading as well, right? And as you download, you get a pretty broad schematic understanding of the course of this universe, right? And you appreciate certain geopolitical movements. For example, that the United States will win World War II.
Wake the fuck up, samurai.
For example, the Soviet Union would rise to challenge the United States. For example, the rise of China, okay? Like you could, like what I do, if through enough concentration, appreciate how these events would unfold over time. Well, if you know this is going to happen, this is great for people who work in business and in finance, right? Because it allows them to make better business decisions. And so they're attracted to your movement, not because they are religious zealots, because they're like, wow, this is a great way for me to make more money for myself, right?
So wait, hold on. So let me get this.
So basically, through the enlightenment of Chabad, Leibovich, do all their meditations and I guess uploading of their consciousness to where exactly? Somewhere. That's what's making finance bros be attracted to them and as like investors or financiers or something. Is that are we following along, class? Is that broadly speaking what he's saying?
This must hit so hard if you're like a paranoid schizophrenic.
Yes, or if you're like a crackhead or something.
Let me get this clear. So you're saying that there are people, right? Jews, non-Jews, in positions of power, and they find themselves attracted to this way of thinking, represented by Chabad Lubavitch, because they think hard and they meditate and they unlock the download and the upload that you're getting, because this allows them to make better market decisions and make more money.
Oh, that's what I said. Fuck you, Hassan.
That's right, right? So
okay, where is the? You have to have some evidence for this, right? Because that seems a little far-fetched, Professor Jiang.
True.
Okay, well, I mean, like, let's look at the Epstein
Also,
Files,
how do you explain
right?
seasonal updates and DLC?
Oh boy, Epstein Files. Yeah. How do we explain like Earth patches? Because it turns out markets. Funny thing about them, they change all the time. That's got to be quite a download. You need quite the fucking bandwidth in order to probably download all of that information. I must say, that's gonna be it's gonna be tough. That's a tough one right there.
Shocking lack of loot crates too. You think
true.
maybe if they do a $10 a month subscription, you'd think I'd get the basics like groceries or gas or my mortgage.
Why are these people like Bill Gates and Bill Clinton? Why are they hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? What's your answer?
Jeffrey Epstein is a facilitator that was deeply embedded in a lot of these circles. Networker, most likely affiliated with Mossad, most likely affiliated with the CIA, and his job was quite literally to be the guy that everybody knows, who can be a fixer at times, and who can also be the person who mass produces sex trafficked children, sex trafficked models of adult age, and create a sequence of black.
Like I said before, the purpose of Epstein is also it's a dual purpose. He is the guy who's going to have a bunch of blackmail on these guys. It's like a perverted form of solidarity amongst thieves, for lack of a better term. Because if the one guy who's got all this like blackmail material of all these like pedophile billionaires raping kids, they can use that to make sure you keep people in line. And it's useful for intelligence agencies because what is the purpose of an intelligence agency? To help maintain the nation state from any and all threats. Again, the nation state, its purpose is existence. That's it. That is all that it is there for as a structure. It is there to justify its own existence. So, having someone like a Jeffrey Epstein that you have a lot of connections to, who's going to have info on a bunch of people who can very, very easily bring down the global economy, especially in the global financial capital of the world, is pretty fucking useful.
Yeah, I agree.
Mail files on every single very wealthy person that they could deploy at times if necessary.
Explain to me like why he was obsessed. Like there were a lot of emails where he was like, like let's get pizza and grape soda, right? Pizza and grape soda.
So you think that was code? Because he would straight up be like,
I mean, it was
talking about how he wants the children too. So I've always been a little confused by that because like why is he using code words like pizza at times and then other times he's just straight up being like, do not send me an adult prostitute. I would like a child prostitute is what he would say in some of the.
So there were two major phrases that were like confusing, right? The first was like pizza and grape soda, okay, and the other was like going to the dentist. These kids were going to the dentist a lot, man. Like once a month or something like that. Like,
no. Well, the dentist one is understandable. That was actually, I mean, he also had the dental chairs in his compound, and I think that was to. I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but it was definitely like some kind of either torture or some way of
some like restraining order,
removing their dental record,
something like that.
Also having like if you're mega rich, you could doctors will make house calls.
That's true. They will.
After disposing of the victims, like something along those lines for sure. But again, that's more overt rather than covert.
Okay.
So why is he going overt at times? But then why is he also using the code word pizza?
Right. Okay. So I understand what he's doing. I understand why Bill Gates and Bill Clinton would be attracted to him. Okay. But one thing that people never resolve, a question that people never resolve, is like how did he get to his position where he knows the Rothschilds, where he where everyone's trying to be his best friend, right? It's not like him going to meet Elon Musk. It's like Elon Musk wants to meet him. There's
I mean that's way after. So I think it was that school that he was working at as a math teacher who the Bill Barr's father I think was
yes, he got associated with other people in power, and then he got connected through a bunch. Because quick reminder, Jeffrey Epstein developed, shall we say, his desires, for lack of a better term, because he used to work as a substitute teacher, I think for social studies specifically, in an all-girls school. And that's why he became, well, the freak that he is now. And then he was working in a university. He got connected to Bill Barr. If you know anything about like Bill Barr, he was an attorney general. I think he also worked in intelligence as well. That's where the whole sort of like ball got rolling there for specifically Jeffrey Epstein, something like that.
The headmaster at and then he gets elevated. I think at some point he's connected with
Les Wexner.
What's his name? Les Wexner, right? He goes to Dalton School. Yep. He gets connected with Les Wexner. He basically becomes like Les Wexner's potential love interest, allegedly. And also somewhere along the way gets access to all of his finances, becomes like sole financial guardian. And he just keeps. I mean, at some point, I assume he was tapped in by the intelligence community to play this role, as they, I guess, saw him as a decent serial networker.
Right. So let's go over his timeline. Okay. So I should point out he gets a job at the Dalton School. Then he goes to Bear Stearns. And at age 30, he's invited by David Rockefeller to join the Trilateral Commission. Mm-hmm. And he gets an interview with Steve Bannon, and he's like, well, it's because I'm a math genius, and they want that. You're 30 years old. And
I don't believe that.
Yeah, quick reminder, Jeffrey Epstein, not a math genius. He was a social studies teacher. Like, not a math genius. Not that guy.
I think it wasn't his math genius that caused a
barely
possible
literate
vestige of espionage to tap into what he could potentially do. I think it was just they thought that they could utilize him as a person that could be operating in these circles.
Okay, all right. So at age 30, he joins the Trilateral Commission, and then after Bear Stearns, he works for a man named Douglas Leese, who's an arms dealer, right? Mm-hmm. And he's heavily involved in Iran-Contra. Mm-hmm. And then
so at that point, he's obviously already affiliated, is what I'm saying. Like,
right. And in the year 1991, Lex Wexner signs over power of attorney to Jeffrey Epstein. Who would you give power? You personally, I want to ask you, who would you give power of attorney to? Who would you be comfortable signing your power of attorney over to?
If you're Les Wexner, I guess in this particular case, I don't fucking know. Like probably somebody's like really closely. Listen, am I like privy to all of like Les Wexner's like personal life? Am I like tapped into that? No, not in particular, but I would assume it's probably someone who's like either very close or someone within his fucking family. One would assume, not like some random jabroni. Like, we'll never really know why the power of attorney was given to fucking Jeffrey Epstein, but I don't know. Maybe Jeffrey Epstein was very convincing. I have no clue. We're probably never gonna know.
Probably nobody, but I do understand. I'm not saying that it's not strange. I totally understand that. I think the reason for why he did that was because by that point he had already been tapped in, and he was the fixer for a lot of these powerful people and had connections to the CIA.
Okay, so Lex Wexner, okay? Two things about him, okay? First of all, what's really strange about him is he signed over power of attorney to a guy he didn't really know well in 1991 named Jeffrey Epstein. The second thing is, like, he's the founder of something called the MAGA group, right? The study group. The study group are responsible for a lot of Jewish charities, including Birthright Israel, so sponsoring all these Jewish teenagers to go to Israel for a couple weeks. I've actually been on a Birthright Israel trip. Yeah, really funny thing. I've been on a Birthright Israel trip. You haven't, but I have.
No, I have not. Oh, wait, but okay, so we're going all over the place. I don't understand how any of this...
I don't think Hassan's going to be invited to do a Birthright Israel trip. I don't know why.
I don't think so.
Why the fuck did Jiang get invited to one of those things? That's my question. I was like, what the hell? That's an interesting one to me.
So are you saying that Jeffrey Epstein had, like, he was a part of the mystical, Hasidim,
that's
and that's the reason why?
Look, I'm trying to figure out why Jeffrey Epstein is put into the position that he is. And given his background, if I'm just looking at this objectively saying, like, what's this guy doing? It seems like he's being trained for a special mission, right? And who would have the power?
Yeah, mass-produced blackmail for very powerful people that you can deploy if necessary, while also being deeply embedded in, like, elite society, which is, I mean, I think there's utility for that for the CIA. There's utility for that for Mossad.
That's right. But I'm trying to figure out who would do this. Who would tell Lex Wexner to give Jeffrey Epstein power of attorney? Who would tell?
Who the fuck knows, honestly? Like,
who knows?
Like, who knows? It could be intelligence agencies. It could be some, like, random jabroni. Like, I don't fucking know. That, again, like, the only person who's gonna know that is Les Wexner even alive? Is he dead? Can get asked? Yeah, trying quick Googling now.
Les Wexner is still alive.
He's still alive, but there's no way he's ever gonna say. Unless we have the Sharingan and we can, like, read his mind or something. That's not happening. That's the information that's gonna be buried for the rest of eternity. We'll never know.
Yep.
Again,
this is him spinning shit out of whole cloth, so it muddies the actual topic at hand.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, he's trying to... Yeah, he's just trying to, like, just come up with some explanation, conspiracy theory nonsense in order to, like... Because the Epstein Files, popular topic, I know.
Yep.
And as a result, he has to make videos about it, especially since it's going to be really easy to spin up conspiracy theories about it, especially about Jewish people. He loves spinning up conspiracies about Jewish people. One of his like favorite things to do. So this is like it's straight up his alley. This is the exact shtick, the metaphorical candy that he can feed to a bunch of, like, idiot children.
Guy and train him up to work in intelligence and in arms trafficking around the world. And I think, like, given all my research, okay, the person that would have the power, and I'm not saying it's him, I'm saying, like, a person who would have the power to do this would be Rebbe Sneerson of the Chabad Lubavitch movement.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I don't understand how, like...
Chabad Lubavitch.
I don't understand how that has anything
fixation.
To do with this Rebbe being, like what I don't...
By the way, does that guy ever get mentioned within the Epstein Files? Like,
no, not a one.
Not one. So, that guy being the main dude who convinced Les Wexner to give the power of attorney to Jeffrey Epstein?
He's making this shit up.
He's making it all up. It's nonsense.
I can't connect here is, like, where is the mystical future sight power coming from for these magical mystical Rebbe?
Let's just use our imagination, okay? And
maybe I should watch some Spirit Science.
Rebbe Sneerson and go into his mind and how he perceives the world, okay? I'm Rebbe Sneerson, and I believe I'm a reincarnation of these great Jewish mystics who are now possessing me in order to fulfill the end times prophecy. The great
Jesus
reunion between
fucking
the Jews
Christ.
and Yahweh, okay? That's what I believe.
It's fixation.
Now, how do I go about doing this? Well, first of all, I need to create a transnational organization that can be politically effective in the United States and in Russia. Why? Because these are the two most powerful countries in the world at this point in history. And I know that because I've seen the future, okay? So I need to create...
Everyone, you have to take notes.
Shit!
I'm in the Rebbe...
We got fucking Nostradamus over here.
True. He's spinning up quite the tale. He's quite the good storyteller, I suppose.
Oh my God!
And I can see the future already.
For nothing.
Yes. You can see the future. Yes.
That already sounds far-fetched. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I don't think the Rebbe had the future foresight gifts, but okay.
Okay. Again, this is a thought experiment. Okay, we're just using our imagination, and I'm trying to explain to you how this could have worked. I'm not saying this happen. I'm just saying, like, how do we add up all these different thoughts? Okay? One is you have this guy.
I mean, like, listen, it's very convenient that it's now a thought experiment, but the Chabad Lubavitch movement has, like, outsized control throughout, like, the financial system throughout the United States of America, and also apparently Russia now. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that they also had a bunch of property in Russia. Like, I wonder where. Moscow, St. Petersburg, like...
It's a dignified It's a dignified form of backpedaling.
Yes, exactly.
Who really believes he's a reincarnation of these different Jewish mystics that know the future, and his job is to implement the next phase of the plan. Okay, that's one. Number two is
okay.
This guy would love Lizardmen from Warhammer Fantasy. They would. Yes, I do believe there is a Jewish autonomous oblast in Russia. I think there. I don't remember which one it is, but it's one of them. There's a lot of them.
Boy Meets Mini. There was in there was a book I've read a while ago.
That probably got fucking cleansed by Stalin by when he tried to purchase Jewish people in Russia. Yeah.
I read about that in a book called Where the Jews Aren't, and it catalogs all of that. It talks about how that was like where the labor. Like, I think it argues like that's where the Jewish labor movement had started.
Part of the reason, by the way, also why Stalin was a big fan of Israel initially. Just saying.
Organizations and find individuals that can help me fulfill this plan. So I'm building combat leverage both in Russia and in Israel and in the United States, because these are the three nations that are most crucial to helping me achieve my plan. Right, so these people are putting their resources and buying up real estate as much as possible. What's really important for me is to figure out.
It's like 1984, three spheres of influence.
I mean, why did they buy Brooklyn? I mean, Brooklyn real estate didn't even get better until recently, until it got gentrified in the last couple of decades. Why didn't they just buy out Manhattan, for example? You know what I mean? If they had the future foresight,
that's true.
I feel like I would make plays on Manhattan instead of Brooklyn. You know,
like where else? Where else is like good real estate in New York? Like. Where else?
Yeah, it totally. It's just completely. He doesn't know how fucking
real estate
gentrification works. Yeah, he doesn't know how it works, or he's just conveniently leaving it out, which I think is the latter.
Well, if it can be like materially analyzed, you can definitely expect Jiang to not do that.
Completely fuck it up.
Yeah, completely ignore it. Westchester, but buildings are way more profitable than McMansions. That's true, Boy Meets Mini.
A lot of combat Lubavitch were immigrants from Eastern Europe and from Ukraine and from Russia, right? And they just congregated in that area. And so once they congregated in that area...
But if they have future foresight, it shouldn't matter, right?
It's true.
Okay. Future foresight is not that specific. Future foresight gives you visions.
Of course.
It gives visions now. So it's visions that you can just randomly interpret as, it's a good idea to invest in Brooklyn and all move to Brooklyn or something in order to gain financial control of the United States of America. Right. Of course, Jiang. Okay. Very convenient.
Global map works out.
Also, why haven't they been able to infiltrate China, you think? If I'm the Red Bay right now. I'm the Red Bay right now, right? Honestly.
Wait, sorry. Who says they have not infiltrated China?
I'm the Red Bay, right? And I'm thinking, okay, 100 years of Chinese humiliation. What's next? 100 years of Chinese prosperity. Okay. Right. Eventually, there's the excess of the Cultural Revolution, and then Deng Xiaoping comes in, liberalizes the economy, reforms kick in, and then there's a period of instability in the aftermath of that. But ultimately, we get to the Xi Jinping era, right? China's rising. China's a rising superpower. I'm trying to get in there. Why haven't I got in there as the Red Bay?
Well, first of all, who says they have not infiltrated China?
You think?
Wait, okay.
Wait, what?
Okay, he thinks Jews have also infiltrated in China.
Oh my God, no way.
I'm just curious. How many Jewish people live within China? Where would they buy real estate? Would they buy in like Hong Kong or something, or Beijing, or where is this coming from? Yeah, I did not see that coming. That's true, Fox of Fade. They're all probably expats, more than likely, Boy Meets Mini. But like, so now they've infiltrated the very, very like well-known exclusionary like Chinese state apparatus.
They would effectively be a minority in a minority in a minority.
Yeah, like who's to say that they didn't do it? It's like, I don't know, man. I don't think they have. It seems really difficult. I don't think so. Especially considering all the like weird Han ethno-nationalism that Xi Jinping also constantly does. So I don't think. Not to say that like Xi Jinping's like anti-Semitic or whatever. We have no evidence for that whatsoever. Like none. I don't think if they were random like Jewish people like trying to infiltrate the Chinese state, I don't think like Xi Jinping would be totally okay with that as like the strange Han ethno-nationalist that he is.
This is so it's so bizarre. Like I know I'm stating the obvious here, but just the way he's thinking here is just so. You know what it is? It's like I don't think he is like a Nazi or a ethno supremacist of any kind. He's just a dingbat. It's he's a self-interested, self-aggrandizing dummy. And this is where, but for a fascist, like a true fascist, this is where their view of the world stops. And this, there's the incuriousness kind of takes root. Once people kind of reach this sort of conclusion, unfortunately on their own, because there's no curiosity, there's no, interest in learning about history. It's all just like, it's all IRL Hearts of Iron.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's just total stupidity and ignorance. And fascism is when you give that stupidity and ignorance a gun.
Yes, pretty much. And also, like, the thing is with, like, the shit that Jiang is saying here, since we know that he's just doing this to get at a particular audience capture is the main thing that sort of guides him forward. We all know that, street epistemology and all this, like, bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Boy Meets Mini. The thing with, like, Jiang is that in order to, like, satisfy the audience that he rapidly grew for himself, it's one of those things where he has to, like, kind of go further and further with the conspiracy theory in order to keep the people in that of the audience that he's garnered. That's another thing that has to also be considered in terms of all of this, because you got to become a little bit more weirder and crazier in order to make sure that you have the keys constantly jingling. Which, again, the problem is that eventually you're not going to be able to jingle those keys so much because you're just going to be like you can only.
They're going to want you to follow up.
Well, eventually, there's that, but you can only sensationalize so much. Yep. Only so much you can sensationalize.
I do.
Chabad Lubavitch has infiltrated China?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So.
All right. Sure. They bought real estate in Beijing.
What do you think the Chinese elite care most about? People in power. What do you think they care the most about?
What do I think the Chinese elite care most about? I don't know. I mean, probably stability. Like broadly, are we talking about the party's goals? Like, what do you mean Chinese elite?
Moment right now, state building.
More than likely, yeah. Like at this point in time, they know that they're rising power, and eventually they're like, it's long-term plans for them. More than likely, if I were to take a guess, I have no idea, of course, but they're probably just going to be thinking more about how to consolidate more and more power through probably financialization. If I were to take a guess, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you're a provincial governor of China or you're a billionaire in China. What are your priorities?
If I'm a part of now I'm a part of the party. I'm a billionaire. I'm a business owner in China. I'm thinking, how do I perform to the best of my abilities, and how do I go up through the ranks of the party? If I'm a billionaire, I'm probably not going to make it to the top echelon of power, regardless. But I'm trying to be on she's good side. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, my priority would be this: to get my money and my children out of China.
Okay.
Right.
You think that's what all the billionaires are trying to do? They're trying to get their money out of China.
Well,
no way.
But yeah, also good luck with that. Isn't there like really difficult, like they keep very, very tight control. I believe the Chinese state in terms of all that. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like good luck with that. Like there's a reason. Like I mean, there's not to say that there's no capital flight that happens within China, right? Like obviously it happens like everywhere, but there's. Yeah, like you're saying, Boy Meets Mini, you can't easily repatriate money from there. Yeah, because of like strict state controls they probably have about that to try to prevent exactly this, that being capital flight. Which is why, like, all the like dumbasses who constantly say like, that's why you can't tax billionaires in the United States because they're all just going to leave. It's like, really? Well, what if we just make it really hard for them to do that? Because you can just do that through regulation, right? And like, what the fuck are they going to do about it?
If they were serious about tackling financial crimes, they'd be putting liens on all of these extra homes that these people own, and that they're, where are they being, where the rich are being funded. The way the Panama Papers should have been a as far as a class war goes, it should have been a nuclear bomb. Everybody should have gone to jail, and yet, they were too big to, fail.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how actually I do know how he missed it, but that's neither here nor there at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? The number, the amount of money leaving the country, the number of people leaving the country, it's pretty overwhelming, right? And why? Because it's a one-party state, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a billionaire. What's to stop the party from taking my money the next day?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it happens all the time.
Right.
It's
right. So my priority, number one priority is to
the
get my money
prosperity
out of the
initiative.
Right. To get my money out of the country and to get my children out of the country, right? Now I need people to help me facilitate this process, to get my money out of the country, to money launder it, and to ensure my children are embedded in the elite circles of America, right? To get them to Dawson School, to get them to Yale, to get them jobs at JP Morgan.
Okay. So
Right.
how does this connect back to Jewish control of China?
Well, because the Jews and the Chinese get along very well.
Okay. But how does
Right?
that...
So,
Okay. What?
The only way to justify that is because China, I don't know, is or used to be, but was at some point in time Israel's second biggest trading partner. But that's because China's an export economy. They trade with literally everybody. That's kind of how it's supposed to work.
That's kind of how that works.
Yeah. Besides the U.S., where Israel has the most trade, and that's, because of very obvious reasons. But next would have been, China, because it's where a lot of cheap manufacturing goods comes from, which is needed for, everyday life or something. I don't know about
It also
that.
is...
Also, China has a lot of, Israeli security tech. Lots of it.
Yeah. It's, it's also, he's falling under the assumption that we're still living in a unipolar world. There's, now that the sort of stranglehold of the United States had on basically every other country's economy has, for better or for worse, become a little more unglued.
Mm-hmm.
So now people, people, I hope, will realize that they don't need to rely on America or any of its, business prowess, for their own sovereignty. I say the same thing about China. I want nations, if they want to develop, to do it on their own, and so you can't be a unipolar world anymore. But to make it, what I don't like how it's used is when we're talking about this, trade wars, tariffs, and all that shit, instead of actually focusing on coordinating and making better trade deals that put unions first. I know, crazy, but it's a thought.
Shocker, I know.
But we're all wasting time. They're wasting time on the wrong things.
True.
But I don't understand how that in any way, shape, or form creates because you're saying that the Rebbe has future foresight and has already infiltrated.
I had no idea. I've never
you're
the guy
speculating that the Rebbe has future foresight.
That's
trying to infiltrate the Chinese halls of power. Here's the thing, though: if you're a billionaire and you've led China, or if you have a significant amount of investment in the Western world, I suspect that you don't have the same level of connection within Chinese governance any longer, right? Because when you do that sort of thing, especially I feel like in the Xi Jinping era, especially any kind of financial corruption of that sort is oftentimes stamped out pretty aggressively, and your ties are often severed with the party. So how does that translate back to party power?
They kill.
This is what happened to Jack Ma, right? Unironically, he had a bunch of financial corruption happened. The Chinese party, the CCP rather, stamped down on that hard. He lost a lot of his wealth. I think he even lost a lot of the controlling stake that he had in a lot of his businesses, and that all got basically taken over by the state. And well, shall we say, for lack of a better term, he was significantly reduced.
And basically, he's like persona non grata in the CCP.
Yes, exactly. Which means he's basically cooked.
Yeah, you're done. You might as well go somewhere else.
Chinese governance.
Okay, so what I'm doing is it's all a thought experiment. I'm not saying this is actually what happens. I'm saying how this could potentially play out. Okay.
Yeah. So I expanded on the thought experiment. I was like, so we agree China's rising as a rising power, as a global, a global superpower.
Right. And do you agree that a lot of these billionaires, a lot of these powerful people are trying to move their money and their children out of the country?
Mm-hmm. But then they sever their connection to centers of power within China.
They're not severing the connection. All they're doing is they're moving their money and their children out of the country, right? But they're not severing the connections. They're still where they are. They're still,
is he talking about the billionaires themselves or something?
He's.
What?
I don't. He's,
I'm not.
think he's-
I'm not really following along here. What he's trying to say. Here.
He's conflating like 3 different ideas about how money moves. And, you know, it's just this gargle mesh of, you know, a web you're supposed to unweave.
Yes, because I mean, given how conspiratorial Jiang is, it's almost as if that's how he thinks for some reason. I wonder why.
In that political position that they are still running factories, doing real estate deals in China, but they're trying to move their money and their children out of the country because that is the best strategy for them in order to ensure their safety, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I need people who I can trust, who are powerful in America, who are well connected in America, who can help me facilitate this process, right? Get my kids into Yale to move my billions and put them into real estate deals in the United States.
I don't think that's. I don't think that connection.
Okay, so
makes a
why
whole
would
lot of
they
sense, I'll
go
be honest. I don't think
specifically to Yale if he just said that there are no Jews in Yale?
By the way, we know this through investigations done by the Canadian federal government. There's a lot of the reason why the housing ministry in Canada was building a lot of luxury houses, a lot of luxury condos, was to attract foreign capital specifically. This was a common thing that was happening throughout the Harper government, which partially led to the housing crisis that we had here, because we didn't have any cheap housing for all the migrants that we decided to take in very, very quickly on a very small timetable, for lack of a better term. So that's part of the reason why, because he's trying to say that it's all like Chabot Lubavitch. Is there Chabot Lubavitch operating in fucking Canada or something? Like what? No, it's just like, this is just a general thing for capital in general. Like, it's not just, oh, here's this like
It's
group
not
that's, like,
just the
facilitating.
Jews.
Yeah, it's not just the Jews. It's just it's like, dog, like, we have open borders already as like Enlightenment liberalism promise, but it's just for people who have money. Like, that's how it works, man.
there's a Chabad Lubavitch connection. I just don't understand why it's Chabad Lubavitch is at the center of all of these theories.
Right. Okay. So I think a lot of problem is like,
Especially because like, have you met like Hasidic Jews in general? Like, I mean, I don't.
I have not met Hasidic Jews.
I was about to say they're. I mean, like
Yes.
by and large, you know, their financial circumstances broadly are not as great as you are presenting it. They're very poor.
I agree. I agree.
So
I
like,
completely
there's a
agree.
select group of them or something. Is that what's going on? They're the ones who control the money.
Okay, so my first point is like the situation is not as static as you believe. It's people. It's lots of circles that intersect at certain points.
Oh
okay?
my
Does that
God!
make
Of
sense?
course it is.
So I'm not saying
Conspiracy
that
guys.
Jews run everything.
Man.
Like that's absurd. I'm saying like there are different convergence points. Okay,
Uh-huh.
finance is doing finance, China's doing finance, Chabad Lubavitch is doing Chabad Lubavitch. But I'm saying there's certain convergence points, and it's these convergence points that matter.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, it's not like China's like heavily invested in BNH or like Satmar Jews or something. You know what I mean? They're not. There's just
Okay,
like different
all right.
different groups of people.
I know you
that
can't
own
tell
different
with the
properties
PFP
and
and the fushiki,
Hmm?
or whatever.
Fugi?
My fugi, my fucking eyelid is twitching.
I made it.
My
I made
eye
it
is
such that
twitching.
I made it such that it like moves around. I can just stop that.
No, it's just like my brain is leaking out of my ears.
Listen, it's perfect for listen. It's perfect for some Jungten right now. Perfect.
Oh my God!
This is all on purpose.
I'm getting the full experience.
Exactly.
isn't distributed across the board. There's no center of power here that is consolidated in the hands of the few in the way that you have represented it.
I completely agree. But again, I think there's a confluence of interests that lead to certain events unfolding. Okay, so let's continue the experiment where I'm Rabbi Schneerson, and I'm creating this organization about Lubavitch. And what else I'm doing is I'm identifying certain potential political allies.
I think I got
right?
left. I got like one more of these segments left in me.
Yeah, honestly, I'm willing to just skip ahead because they're just probably going to go in circles about Chabad, Lubavitch, and China and stuff. Blah 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 blah. I think
let's see where that major spike is.
Yes, I'm very curious. Like
what in God's name happened in that segment?
I'm assuming this is probably where the main clips are coming from, and Hassan probably laughing his ass off. This is wait. This is about why has the Iran-Israel conflict not ended?
If we just use
here
this
we fucking go.
okay,
Lock in.
Yeah.
then we would have to conclude that eventually this war against Iran will end, right? Because it's not in their best interest for this war to continue for too long. Is that correct? Like I'm trying to figure out. Okay, we have this model of the universe, which is dialectic materialism, self-interest. And so let's figure out, let's extrapolate from it. Figure out
there are other competing forces here as well. Obviously, like America has to save face. America has to maintain force projection capabilities. That's like the entire underpinning of the dollar being the reserve currency. If America's military might is bested by a middle power like Iran because it has complete control over the Strait of Hormuz and can dominate the American military that way and dominate global capital that way, then obviously, America's no longer the superpower we once thought it was. That would destabilize everything. So there's the competing interest there of America trying to save face to the best of its ability. So I suspect that they'll try to wean out of the situation and probably maintain this like weird limbo where is there a memorandum of understanding? Will Iran actually get sanctions relief or not? I suspect that the reasonable thing to do in this circumstance would be to actually retreat from the rest of the globe in the way that we've dominated and instead move to, I guess, harden our defenses in the Dawn Road Doctrine in the Western Hemisphere and redouble our efforts there and not try to pick as much of a fight in the Middle East. I don't know if we'll do that. I'm just saying that would be the reasonable thing to do.
So
well, that's the whole nostalgia cuckoldry specifically there for Trump. Listen, every other president picked fights in the Middle East. Now I want to do it as well, folks. That's what I could do it better than everyone else. Let me tell you.
Do you think the Electric Mosque will be destroyed?
I hope not, but that is definitely the goal of a lot of there's definitely a group of people in Israel that want to do it. I mean, there's like archaeological digs that they're conducting underneath the mosque in a specific attempt to like destroy the foundation that it remains on top of.
Right, but I'm saying like this: if we just looked at the world from a purely dialectic materialist perspective, I mean, it'd be insane to destroy the Electric Mosque. I mean, like you would incite a religious crusade, right? I mean, like you have like
I don't really see I don't see what dialectical materialism has to do exactly with the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's I'm having troubles with that one in particular. In terms of like the material benefit or non-benefit of the destruction of a mosque, I'm not seeing it, dude. It's very strange.
No, neither have I.
Yeah, this could be the Islamo-communist conflation that a lot of like the right-wingers do. That's true, Boy Spinny. Like maybe that's what he's trying to say. I have no these are words. They exist in the dictionary. I have no idea.
There are people who believe a litany of different nonsensical things, and that could motivate them to take action. I understand that. I'm not discounting that at all.
So all I'm saying
I just don't think that there is I think that as long as it coalesces or converges with the interests of more powerful nations like the United States of America, or as long as it's in the interest of Benjamin Netanyahu to maintain a coalition with the more fundamentalist, more religious Jews in his coalition, he will make it seem as though that's fine, and he won't make he won't like force them to retreat in any capacity as long as they don't like destabilize too hard. But things do happen. They might end up. They might end up doing something that's like completely chaotic, but I don't think it's I don't think it's going to bring about the end times prophecy is what I mean.
Okay, all right. So I think here you and I would agree where maybe we can use economic self-interest to explain 95%, right? But then there's this unpredictable religious fanatical element to it, maybe 5%, that changes the vector of events, right? So if there were no religious fanaticism going on, okay, we can predict how this war will end up, but because there are these religious fanatics, maybe 5% of the population, and we're talking about like both in the United States, in Israel, in Iran, these are just religious fanatics, and they want this war to achieve their end times prophecy. And you and I agree, like they probably won't achieve their end times prophecy, okay? But that doesn't mean they won't try. And because they'll do certain things, then these events will basically become catastrophic, right? So I think right now the war is containable, but if they
okay,
that's wishful thinking.
Yeah, I mean, this was filmed about 3 weeks ago. Again, we know that this is just not the case. The Houthis have now essentially joined in on the fun, metaphorically speaking, of course, because of the collapse of the Memorandum of Understanding, because of the limbo, as Hassan himself also said. That's correct. The quote-unquote limbo and collapse of the Memorandum of Understanding, mostly because of Israel. Not so much because of like Christian Zionist interest. I believe even Mike Huckabee, who's the ambassador to Israel, even he himself has condemned the actions of Israel within Lebanon, saying like, yeah, like the bombing of like a lot of like Christian sites within Lebanon, not particularly a big fan of that one by Israel. So even he has, and that dude's like a complete Zio freak.
He's a total dog.
Yeah, like complete dog to Israel. He loves Israel. Complete like Christian Zionist freak. Even that guy has come out and said like, Yeah, I don't know about these actions within Lebanon, man. I don't know about a lot of these actions as well. Yes, Huckabee is if Kufi was a fucking person. So, like, I don't know if this is correct with Jung. Like, it's obviously it's breach containment at this point in time. It's always been threatening to breach containment and go outside of Iran because Iran has always had the Houthis in their back pocket. We know that the Houthis are definitely affiliated with the Iranians. Houthis they've been stockpiling missiles and drones to attack shipping in the Bab al-Mandeb Strait for at this point months now, and now they're starting to do it. They haven't exactly gotten the go-ahead specifically from Tehran, but the incentivization of, well, specifically the approval of an attack by Trump into Yemen by the Saudi Arabians, approval of attacks by the Saudis or for the Saudis by Trump is what's now incentivizing the Houthis to now, well, blockade the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and is going to, I think last time I checked, I saw a quick blurb about it, the spot prices for Brent crude were at $112.
Yeah, it's only climbing.
Yeah, that's going to shoot up like a rocket, because of the blocking of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, which is also going to be bad for global trade in general. About an eighth of global trade goes through that strait specifically.
Yeah, we haven't seen the.
Yeah,
we haven't felt the consequences of this yet. Not even close.
We'll probably feel them in the next couple of weeks, for sure, and it's just gonna make everything worse. I'm telling you, maybe Trump just wants everyone to go around the Cape of Africa like they did in the 1700s. Think about it. Maybe that's what he wants. Yeah. Fox of Fate.
The Alex Mosque is destroyed, right? Then all bets are off. Like we don't know what's gonna happen now.
I mean, who knows? Who knows how the Muslim world reacts? They have, they've conceded quite a bit because Israel has, in line with the United States of America, Israel has been a fairly dominant force in the region. And
well, I mean, like the people in power in the Gulf states are probably not really going to give a shit, but their populations will. The Saudi populations, there will probably be active revolts in Saudi Arabia if I were to take a guess, because that's mostly the reason as to why the Saudis are like hesitant in joining the Abrahamic Accords is specifically because of that. They risk revolt from the population.
Given that they've turned a blind eye to the massacres of the Palestinians in Gaza, I don't know if the Arab world or the Muslims would revolt. Probably, maybe, and I don't know where that would go. But I don't think this is like. My point is, I don't think that this is an event that's being triggered deliberately by design by a group of individuals that are secretly controlling society in any meaningful capacity or have an understanding of the future or can see the future. It's just more so people that are, self-invested and some who believe in ridiculous things. And you keep those forces at bay to the best of your ability. But the only reason why they're a part of the Netanyahu coalition, for example, is because of immediate political reasons, immediate domestic political reasons, and not like.
And that's why, again, the banality of evil is, and that's because the truth is very boring.
Yep. Okay, we'll just say the truth right now. Benjamin Netanyahu has corruption charges on him. He wants to keep the war council going for as long as possible, so then he doesn't have to go to trial. Because of constant bombings that he's been doing in Lebanon as well, there was a court date that he had to skip because of the bombing he was doing in Lebanon. Yeah, that's why.
Larger, much broader, cult that is a towering force behind closed doors.
Okay, so let me make my argument, and you tell me if it makes sense to you, okay? So I'm not saying there is a top-down system of secret societies where they control everything, and we are just.
But yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did that for 3 hours. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, we've been looking at this. We've been looking at this for about 3 hours. So yeah, it's been about an hour and a half.
Oh my God.
So here's another thing with Professor Jiang. He contradicts himself very often. Welcome to Professor Jiang.
I couldn't tell.
To their whims. But there are lots of people embedded in different positions of power. They may be formally or informally attached together, but they have certain beliefs that are similar, okay? So you have these Christian Zionists, and you have these Zionists, you have these Mormons, and other groups, okay? They're not aligned. They don't have these
the good ones and the bad ones.
Destroy the world together, okay? Don't do that. They have certain belief systems that align, which call for the return of the Jews to Jerusalem, which calls for war in the Middle East, which calls for.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening either. That's my point. Because there's,
okay.
I mean, again.
So here's the thing. What Jiang is saying there is technically correct. It's
Yep.
It's capital interests. It's not to do with like, because the whole centralizing of the thesis with the game theory and the eschatological history that he also assesses, and seemingly wanted to bring about the end times. All this is meant to coalesce around Jews returning to Israel. That's what it is, because again, he's like a weirdo anti-Semite. Yeah, that's where it's all culminated with Jiang's sort of ideology, quote unquote, I suppose.
Whatever we'll call it.
Yeah, it's a something, all right.
From all the Jewish people I know that live in the United States of America, some Zionists, some anti-Zionists, many anti-Zionists, ain't nobody's trying to live in Israel.
Well, see, here's the thing, Zane. Like, it is a whole lot of nothing with a lot of these types. Jordan Peterson was the exact same way, where it's just noise and pseudo-intellectual jargon. Jordan Peterson was also noise and pseudo-intellectual jargon. But at the very least, Jordan Peterson had the accreditation and was able to sell the intellectual jargon in a better sense. This guy has none of it. So it's like way more obvious that it's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You're just a crank. Like, you're just saying stuff. At the very least, with Jordan Peterson, he had the plausibility of like plausibility of denial, because he was a tenured professor in University of Toronto. He has his PhD in clinical psychology. He has done work with patients in terms of like a psychological sort of setting. He has done all of that work. This guy's got none of it. He used to take math at Yale, then decided to switch from that program, started doing literature instead, graduated with literature, and now all of a sudden he thinks he's like a historian. He also has like a degree in advanced mathematics, which is why he thinks he can use like an advanced mathematical theory like game theory. It's just like, no, like the fuck are you talking about? Like, stupid.
Okay, that's the thing, right? For a game theory, and if this guy's supposed to be a numbers guy, there have been a shocking lack of numbers and math in this whole in this exchange.
Oh, Jiang,
it's just been
Jiang is very sparse with sources. Every time you check any of his videos for sources, basically it's just like random books that have nothing to do with numbers. Very
all
often.
right.
That's the Jiang special right there.
They're not going to Israel, no matter what happens. And this includes like Michael Rappaport, for example. That motherfucker loves Israel, and he lives in New York. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, there's no drive for many of these people to go and live in Israel to like trigger the end times prophecy.
How do you explain the rise of anti-Semitism after October 7th? Right? I mean, you're on social media. You notice how before October 7th, no one talked about the Jews.
It's pretty easy.
That's the byproduct of Zionist propaganda and them also trying to purchase social media companies in order to stamp down on quote-unquote anti-Semitism, right? Because that's why they're doing it, and that's why there's a large rise in anti-Semitism as a byproduct. Guys, it turns out Zionist propaganda, it's actually anti-Semitic in of itself, because that's kind of the point. I mean,
It's literally anti-Semitic.
I mean, like, Ben-Gurion talked about the utility of anti-Semitism and anti-Semites, same with, like, Theodore Herschel, and all these other fucking jabronis. They talked about how they love anti-Semites in reality, so then they can continue with the colonial project in Israel. That's kind of the point, Junk. That's how it works. Glad we could clear this up.
No, there's always been like people. Look, there's two different kinds of anti-Semitism, right? There's like the way that people will casually say like, oh, Jews are in finance, Jews are in Hollywood, but they also made Seinfeld, and I love Seinfeld, so it's fine, right? Like that's been the otherization of Jews for quite a long time, and then there's always been people who are like, no, Jews are at the heart of a lot of these conspiracies, like the old-fashioned anti-Semitism, the protocols style of anti-Semitism that neo-Nazis have tried to bring back into the forefront in perpetuity. As far as like post-October 7, the increase in hatred of Jews is a direct consequence of the anti-Semitic incidents spiking in the aftermath of Israeli sieges in the past. Whenever Israel sieges Gaza, it does so by falsely claiming that it's doing this at the behest of Judaism, at the behest of, like, Zionists are, Zionism is Judaism. We're doing this as the Jewish state over and over again in the defense of that in the Western.
Guys, it turns out conflating Judaism and Zionism is kind of bad, guys. Turns out
really bad.
Turns out conflating a ethno-nationalist ideology, like I've been consistently saying on this fucking channel before, with an not an ethnic, but a religious and a cultural affiliation, not good actually, guys. Turns out there's some problems with that, but it's on purpose. It's by design at this point.
World is always packaged in the same way, and as a response to that, people hear that and they go, okay, well, I don't with this, so maybe all of these people that are in positions of power that happen to be Jewish are actually bad, and they're demonstrating dual loyalty, right? And that's how it builds. That's how anti-Semitism grows. And as a matter of fact, many people who were prominent neo-Nazis, been deplatformed on numerous occasions, have taken advantage of Israel's newfound unpopularity in the Western world to push for this idea that all of these Jews they're all single-mindedly in defense of Israel, and there are plenty of American Jews, there's plenty of American Zionists that will actually say this over and over again. They will teach people this falsehood, this idea that all Jews are.
Anna Kasparian's been doing this as well. Cenk partially. Yeah, listen. Our favorite Strauss-Right Karen.
Another fucking jerk off.
Single-mindedly invested in the development of the Greater Israel Project, when that's not the case. And institutions also do this as well, like synagogues that do settler fairs and advocacy organizations like the ADL that will then go around and go on television and say that all prominent critics of Israel are anti-Semitic.
Okay, so I'm not plugged into social media as well as you are, but
yeah,
I'm based in
right.
China. But
I mean, technically speaking, that's Jung might not be lying there in particular. Maybe. I don't see him posting on social media as often, but he more than likely has a team that's heavily plugged in, if I were to take a guess. He definitely has a team around him, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I will tell you this. I noticed a distinct difference in social media postings pre-October 7th and post-October 7th. Pre-October 7th, there was a real focus on anti-racist thinking and behavior, right? Like, let's not conflate people into their racial groups, and let's not discriminate against certain racial groups, okay? And that was pretty clear and stark on social media pre-October 7th. After October 7th, very rapidly, like, you have all these people saying the Jews are responsible for everything. I'm like, okay, first of all...
Okay, he's basically conflating all of this with, like, based on, like, an ethnic line as well. It's like, no, dude, like... I wonder why people started quote-unquote blaming Jews for everything. Because Hassan literally just explained this to you, man. Because Israel conflating Judaism with Zionism. No one fucks with Zionism because they're just unironically broadcasting all their fucking war crimes on TikTok, for fuck's sake. Like, you go on TikTok and see random IDF soldiers just, like, looting a Palestinian apartment that they just bombed. So, they do that in, like, Merkava tanks, for fuck's sake. Like, that's why people are just like... I don't think that's a good thing, guy. I think that's kind of bad, actually. Like, I'm not okay with this. I think this is actually pretty bad. And that's how it all started building up. I don't know, guys.
He talks about this shit like it all happens in a vacuum. It's really
like every other
fucking bothersome.
Theorist.
Exactly. It's really fucking bothersome.
Why was this the sudden sea shift, right? This sudden shift in mentality. That's number one. Number two is, are people really that stupid they can't conflate, that they have to conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism? I mean, I think it's okay to say, like, I disagree with Israel's policies.
Well, I mean, that's the propaganda. And yeah, some people are that stupid. Some people have drunk the Kool-Aid. I won't deny that. Definitely. Some people are that stupid. We're talking about the United States of America here. So, like...
I mean...
Yeah?
We're not sending our best.
Certainly.
But then to say these Jews are controlling the American government, like, these are two different things altogether.
First of all, there's a lot of stupid people. Let me stop you there. And number two, there's a lot of, Elon Musk purchased Twitter. The algorithm, under the auspices of free speech,
as well.
Was tweaked at the behest of a lot of neo-Nazi sentiment. I mean, Adolf Hitler gifs were going viral almost on a weekly basis, almost on a daily basis. So there's definitely a little bit of algorithmic tweaking there as well that normalizes this kind of attitude. And Twitter is, the internet it always cross-pollinates information from one social media platform to the next. So whatever happens on Twitter then makes its way to TikTok, then makes its way to all these other platforms. But the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of people heard what prominent defenders of Israel were saying, and they learned the wrong lesson. Because prominent defenders of Israel, even to this day, will often conflate Judaism and Zionism, and will also defend Israel's actions by falsely painting its critics as anti-Semitic. And for the longest time, this anti-Semitism accusation held a lot of weight.
Crazy.
Part of the reason why it held a lot of weight is because there are a lot of liberal advocacy organizations that were civil rights organizations or masqueraded as civil rights organizations like the ADL, which in the past, in the 90s, was actually caught spying on Jewish Americans, Black Americans that were protesting apartheid in South Africa. An organization that is...
By the way, that's also part of the reason for as to why more and more anti-Semitism also happened, and why the metaphorical sort of like spiral only got worse. Because of the fact that like being a liberal, kind of cringe, guys. Kind of cringe, actually. That's why.
Backed by the Israeli Knesset. And the reason for why a lot of these pro-Israel organizations that masquerade as pro-Jewish organizations or Jewish advocacy organizations were allowed to operate on U.S. soil was not because of like some special secret magical mystical powers that Jews have, but because this was a reasonable way to stamp out any kind of opposition that Americans who believe in or learn liberal humanitarian values would actually be at odds with what Israel was doing if they learned what Israel was doing, right? So a good way to stamp that out.
Which is why I use Israel very often as a litmus test for liberals, because it is clear that Israel is an illiberal state. If we believe in the broader liberal international order that we have right now, you should be anti-Israel. Like, you should have problems with Israel. You should be anti-Zionist if we're being ideologically consistent. But a lot of liberals tend not to be for some reason. I wonder why. Couldn't think.
Brad Lander, as much as I love the Landman, he is he is the guy I think of when I hear liberal Zionist. And I've been asked this before, like, what do I see liberal Zionist is? And it's just like, it's the group of people that still have a romanticized view of the vision of Israel. It's unfortunately outdated, way outdated.
I've also said this before. It's also lazy. Just lazy.
Yeah, it's
very lazy.
It's incredibly lazy.
That's how I described Ethan Klein, for example. It's romanticized. It's lazy.
It's the
true points, Minnie.
It's the belief that you can vote out the bad parts of Zionism, but it's all bad. It's like trying to vote out the
fascism,
bad tenets of fascism. No, voting fascism out in general has worked for Brazil. Yeah, that's why I think that you can. It's just the cleanup that comes after it. You have to, you have
to burn out the root in a metaphorical sense. Otherwise, it just comes back.
And you have to make arrests. Like he had to arrest Bolsonaro.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd even throw in the entirety of his family as well. They went along with the fucking coup plots as well. They helped plot that shit. Yeah, jail. All of you go to jail. Hello. You have to.
It's follow through, and that's I think when people compare Obama to Mamdani to Obama, and I'm just like, there is one connection, and it's that it was the belief of hope and change, but the difference between the two is very simple. It's follow through. Yep. Mamdani was the one that actually followed through and is doing the thing. And he's pissing off all the right people. That's what it's supposed. That mentality. That's what it's supposed to look like. Not saying every other outdated slur and thinking you could get away with it. Yeah, it's not like that. And we're starting to see politics actually work for people and do actually what it's supposed to do. And nobody's used to it.
Yeah, that's what I've said. That is why I've said, like, Mamdani, he is the future. He is. Yeah. Because within the United States of America, civic nationalism is dead. And it was killed by, I guess who? Reagan. Whoa! It's all Reagan, again.
Shocker.
And the broader establishment is incredibly afraid of someone like a Zoran Mamdani because he is restoring hope in civics, in civic sort of duty that has been, broadly speaking, destroyed throughout the past 40 years within the United States of America, because most people are just apathetic, right? And the largest voting constituency within the United States of America are non-voters. I wonder why. Couldn't think of possibly any reasons. So civic engagement, broadly speaking, dead within the United States of America. Zoran Mamdani is giving people a reason why it is important and why it is a good thing, which has a lot of people within power in fear. The whole, we'll do the Mike from PA meme of sewer socialism, because that is basically what Zoran Mamdani is hearkening back to from Milwaukee.
Pothole socialism.
Yeah, pothole socialism. Yeah, we can say that for Zoran. Yep. And that is the belief that the state can actually do something, that they can actually make your life better. Because what was one of the most famous lines by Ronald Reagan? I think it was like 13 words. Hello. What is it?
I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yes, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That wasn't like 13 words. Whatever, it's like 8 words or something. Those famous 8 words by Ronald Reagan was the main shot across the bow saying, I am here to kill civic nationalism and ensure corporate consolidation for the next 50-ish years. And now we're getting to the ideological conclusion of that. Hypercommodification and financialization under capitalism. Mark Fisher, my G right there, capitalist realism. And we're seeing that ideological conclusion play out now. And people don't like it.
Yeah, I say this all the time. Libertarians, congratulations, you got the world you wanted, and everybody hates it.
Yep. Thank you, people like Liquid Zulu, who've like popped into my fucking mentions before. You got what you wanted, buddy. No one likes it. Who would have fucking thought? But whatever. I'm willing to.
A collective thanks. I hate it.
Yeah, true. I don't know. The only final bit that I'm curious about is just like Tucker Carlson and MTG. Like, we'll just take a look over that and we'll just like wrap it up here.
Yeah, because I've
yeah,
I have seen enough.
Yes, it's just constant repetition and everything.
What do you think of Tucker Carlson and MTG? Because these are both extremely anti-war people who have basically abandoned the Republican Party because they're anti-war. How do you perceive these two people in particular?
I think Tucker Carlson is very connected to J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel, and therefore he's garnering a lot.
It's just an opportunist.
Of legitimacy in the anti-war space, and there are plenty of people who actually believe him and think he's a sincere voice. And he does make a very convincing case in that front, especially against Israel. And regardless of what he is saying, I still think that his ultimate ambition is to either take that legitimacy and lend it to J.D. Vance, or maybe even take that legitimacy into going through with his own ambitions of higher office and maybe even run for president.
I don't think Tucker Carlson's gonna run for president.
Yeah, that's my point as well. I don't think he's gonna like the analysis here from Hassan is sound. He's definitely going to. I don't think Tucker Carlson's going to run for office. Tucker Carlson only cares about one thing and one thing only. That's money. That's it. He has a very, very lucrative thing going under his podcast, and the reason why he basically like died off, in a metaphorical sense, of course, was because of the prominence he lost because of the Dominion lawsuit, him being forced off of Fox News because of that specifically. He lost his prominence. Israel, October 7th all happens. He got his big lucky break in 2024, going hard into anti-Israel sort of sentiments amongst the Republican Party. He makes a massive resurgence based off of that. Same with Candace Owens. These guys were essentially like completely dead in the water. No one cared about them. No one heard about them. All of a sudden, they shoot up immediately into being the most prominent, popular, conservative voices in podcasts in America.
It's just seeing the writing on the wall.
Well, part of that, but also seeing there's an opportunity here for us to make a lot of money and to get a lot of prominence, right? And they grabbed onto it and hopped on that shit immediately. This is where the quote unquote dinosaur of the Republican Party, because the Republican Party have always been very, very adept at being able to glam on to social media and new media movements in order to be able to, push, get their prominence they need in order to gain power. But Israel is the one perfect thing that essentially destroys that for them, because who is the core constituency and base of the Republican Party? Christian evangelicals. And those guys are fucking Zionists. Very, very often are Zionists. So, since politics is certainly about maintaining that core constituent base and then trying to grab onto other emerging bases in order to build some form of a coalition, the Republican Party will never let go of that core constituency, because that's their main base of power. It's a solid well, I was going to say like 30% of the country. Not exactly. It's like a solid like 15% of the country. That's a massive constituency. And that's never going to be let go, ever. That would be political malfeasance, malpractice, even. It wouldn't make any sense for them to do that. Which is why, like, the whole attempt, and I think Tucker Carlson, MTG, and Nick Fuentes have come to recognize this. Their whole attempt at trying to build a political movement to rise up out of the dead carcass of the MAGA movement, because that's what they were doing initially. It's not feasible.
Yeah,
it'll never happen.
No, the movement literally dies with him. So
it has to. That's pretty much about it. It dies with him. Whatever comes out of it is going to be. I don't know who's gonna. Depends on who honestly wins the primary within the 2020 election. More than likely, is it going to be J.D. Vance, who pretends to be like an anti-war voice, more like Goiper populism kind of, sort of, but like like Palantir, big tech backing him, or if it's going to be neoconservatism, neocon, sort of like a banner under Marco Rubio. That's ultimately the main fight that's going to be happening in 2028 in the Republican Party, unless somehow Donald Trump gets the apple of life and is able to continue living or something. I don't know. Like, who knows? But yeah, like, that shit was never going to work because, again, Christian evangelicals, those are the main dudes that make up the core basis of the Republican Party. And that's all because of, like, as Jennifer Welch herself said from the I've Had It podcast, Donald Trump was basically a Christian evangelical pastor. Like, he did the whole, like, prosperity gospel sort of nonsense. It spoke to these people in a sort of, like, community level in, like, a primal sense, because that's where these people have garnered community. It's terrible where they've garnered community by getting abused by these, like, very strange and pedophile fucking rapists for a lot of these, like, evangelical pastor preacher types. But that's where these guys sort of have built their community, and they're, like, various, or like either suburbanite communities or like rural communities even. That's like the basis of it. It was the fucking church, and it's all fucking cult, and Donald Trump took advantage of it. Who exactly is going to speak to that? That's ultimately a different question, because they're going to need, like, J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, they're going to fucking need that constituency, and it's probably going to be J.D. Vance, who I think, because he's a Catholic, even though he's a convert, and I don't think people are going to jive with Marco Rubio as much because he's a Cuban, if I were to take a guess.
Catholic converts like J.D. Vance are Protestants, but they like the Catholic aesthetic.
Yes.
They're
it's all LARP. It's just Nazi.
It's all a LARP. It's all a LARP.
That's what I think. But I don't think it's like a real. I mean, I think it's ultimately going to be him lending that credence to J.D. Vance. That's what I think. And I don't think J.D. Vance is actually a critic of Israel in any way, shape, or form. I think he's just performing a role for Peter Thiel.
Mm-hmm.
And how about MTG?
I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is just, I mean, she's a little bit of a kook. She's a little bit of a crank. Here's the thing. I think both Tucker Carlson
Marjorie Taylor Greene Marjorie Taylor Greene did objectively the correct thing, which is that she wants to make money, so she got out of politics.
Well, that's actually exactly what happened. Palantir Bill, they secured a deal for $2 million from the State Department, from Donald Trump specifically, and guess who made a very interesting trade into Palantir stock while before that happened? Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she made
I can't imagine.
She made $25 million off of that one trade.
Oh yeah, so she's gonna and they passed that no insider trading rule in Congress. So she's not, it's all a money move.
Well, a lot of loopholes in there. Trump and Vance are not.
Oh, of course, of course.
Like, it's like a kind of a maybe like a little like tickle of the wrist. I was gonna say slap on the wrist. Yeah.
She really left and started being anti-Trump because Trump fucked up her ambitions for the Senate. So she wanted to be part. She wanted to be part of the inner circle. Trump said no because she doesn't like country blumpkins, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's a country blumpkin because, again, Trump's a coastal elitist. You can never forget about that. He hates his own
constituency. Like he'll.
Oh,
pretend,
he despises.
Yeah, he despises
his
them.
base.
He despises his base. But he just likes the adulation and praise and the cult-like sort of like adherence they have in reality. But like, there's no love reciprocated by Trump. He fucking hates them in reality. Like, he'll pretend.
Nah.
He'll do a performance, but nah, he fucking hates those guys. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is just like, I mean, AOC is herself said in an Instagram Live. It's like, no, she's just mad that she got fucking snubbed for higher office. Same thing with Thomas Massey as well. But that's because they're two country blumpkins, and, well, Trump doesn't like country blumpkins. That's what it is.
Yep.
That the violence that they saw in Gaza is unconscionable. I do think that. Having said that, however, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene has like any sort of real constituency, because she no longer she abandoned her post, she abandoned the party, and she lost whatever power she could have potentially had as a reliable vote, for example.
To try to do anything.
She probably didn't want to get primaried by way of Thomas Massey. There's a very high likelihood that would have happened to her, but still, she would have still been able to be a vote and a voice before she got primaried. So I don't think she should retire.
This is the same criticism that a Majority Report has also said. It's like, oh, you just like decided to like up and leave for no reason?
Yeah, no,
that's a little weird. Interesting.
It's the correct assumption. Picked up your ball and went home.
You know, you got your $25 million. Yeah, you got your $25 million, and you decided to fuck off. You're just like, well, I'm not gonna make it high into like a higher office and further in the inner circle. But I got my bag, so I'm fucking off now.
Yeah, cashing out.
But I don't know where she goes from this point on. Maybe in independent media, somewhere like that.
She got a YouTube.
Ultimately, I don't
she
think
got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, she'll be a podcaster.
Probably.
She's like a
VTuber.
significant force in American politics any longer.
And
all right, I think we're done there. Well, we've got our, I think, our more than enough of our fill, because I don't know, who cares about what happens after the midterms? It's probably just going to be, I don't know, subpoena. That's really about it.
Yep, they're gonna.
There's
when
just going to
the
be
Democrats,
subpoenas.
Yeah, basically the biggest thing the Dems can do when they win the midterms, and hopefully I'm in that crowd, gum up the works.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing we could do for the next 4 years. I mean, the next
2 years.
Year and a half we got left. Yeah,
a year and a half.
Is just completely gum up the works, subpoena till you can't believe it. And like no one's ever seen before.
There's going to be so many subpoenas, folks. It's going to be great. So many hearings are going to be had by the Democrats. The Democrats are going to do so many subpoenas and hearings. It's going to be great.
You would literally have to do them every day.
Oh,
and
probably.
I think that's got to be the move. But so to wrap up this segment.
True.
Going back to Dante, because
that's awesome.
Marjorie Taylor Greene would most likely be in the 7th level.
Circle?
No, 8th circle in the Malibulge, but in the outer circles. It's like she'll be most likely thrown into a tub of hot tar forever, and that would be very funny.
That's
because
awesome.
It's usury, political corruption, and all that. Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu will most likely be in the 9th circle, right at the betrayers of country, which is the 3rd inner circle in the 3rd inner sphere in the Lake Cocytus, which is a lake made entirely out of Satan's tears. And betrayers of country are frozen in ice right next to Satan's crotch.
Ice. Fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Very, very good. Lovely. Listen, I guess my sort of wrap up in terms of all this, just to open a quick link made by our resident VIP in chat, of course, that being Warframe Sensei or Zane. Oops, all Reagan. Yeah, oops is all Reagan, guys.
That's correct. Oops, all Reagan.
Oops, all Reagan. Everything is just the fault of Ronald Reagan. Of course, yeah, I mean, Jiang is a schizo, conspiracy theory. Probably hates Jewish people, and probably
fucking lunatic.
Yeah, he's just a lunatic. Basically, what happened if Jordan Peterson decided to not hit the benzos when he hit them, and he just went the full.
It's the
insano.
it's Jordan Peterson, like in the logical extreme. The conclusion.
You know, the pure form of Jordan Petersonium or something. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I just posted your link in chat to your YouTube channel. I think you also do stream, or you used to stream on Twitch, but obviously you've been busy touching a bunch of grass, of course.
Yes. Win or lose. After win or lose, I'm back to regular streaming in December.
Hell yeah.
Just obviously, I've just been a little busy.
You've been a little busy running a congressional campaign, which everyone should absolutely. I don't know if you can still donate to it. I'm a Canadian.
Yes.
I don't know how these works.
Canadians can't donate, unfortunately. But
Well, obviously, yeah. Campaign finance violations and whatnot.
But I never ever asked for money. The point of this campaign is to see how far we can go purely on people power. And especially helps because Laura Gillen, my representative, it has now been, I think, 460 days since her last town hall.
Epic.
And I should know because I was thrown out of her town hall for criticizing her Lake and Riley Act vote.
Of course, based.
And you can read where it all started on my Instagram, where I have all my comics, which those will be back regularly once this is all over. And
sounds good.
Yeah, I posted the link tree into the chat.
Excellent.
You can Twitter is the funny, not very serious account, and Facebook is where we actually talk about policy and stuff.
Fantastic, excellent. Oh, so just like me on Twitter when I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah, pretty much. Twitter is honestly, it's not a very serious website.
Never has been.
I like to let loose on.
Wait, what do you mean? I literally bought it to try to make it more serious for the Nazis.
Exactly, for the Nazis.
Thank you, Elon. Very cool. But yeah,
dude, I'll tell you what, man, this was a long time coming.
Yes, that's true. I mean, you've been out and about touching grass. Great. We need to do this more often where, I don't know, we go over schizo nonsense, I suppose, for lack of a better term.
I agree.
Anywho, it was great having you on. Thank you for coming on, of course.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. Anywho, gamers, don't think there's really much else to say besides, Jiang, you're fucking schizo, little bro.
Absolute nutter.